than that. I need you to talk a little bit louder than that. I need you to talk. I need you to not that fucking loud. Shut up.
One of those nights.
It's just one of them days.
Oh, good song.
Copyright flag. God, you. All right, Amy, listen.
Sorry.
Guys, what do you not understand about Upshut? Oh, sorry. Well, I'm the one that's talking. I mean, this is horrible. Oh, Hayden's Final. We can play that. No, let's not. Let's just. Let's get it shared out, y'all.
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make.
Let's get out there and get it liked, folks. We should have a ton of likes already. Remember, before you even come in, you take your shoes off, go ahead and make the sign of the cross, and you like the show.
Wipe your shoes on my drapes.
Wait, what?
Wipe your shoes on my drapes. What song is that?
What?
Oh, it's a song?
I'm going to mute your mic. Seriously.
And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Weaver. I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as The DUM Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The DUM Show on social media or thedumshow.com.
It's Red Friday, RED Friday, which stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. The movement designed to honor veterans and deployed U.S. troops by wearing a red shirt every Friday. As simple as that may be, Red Friday is a great way to back those who serve our country. Go to dumbshow.com and search for Red Friday to get your red on.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike.
And Alan.
Politics,
And
military
Alan.
analysis,
You
and
blooming
election
English
coverage.
bloker.
Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Alan got to experience the pregame a little bit, and he's like, what in the name of God did I walk into? You know, it looked like a Greek Roman wrestling event, lathering, loincloth, jumping from the top ring, all these things.
Only there wasn't that many towels. It was just pure nudity.
It was just pure unadulterated intravenous drug use with unprotected sex, just all the things a growing person needs. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. To your viewing right, I guess. I don't know I always get confused by that. My name is Matthew Spear. I'm the host of Don't Unfriend Me. In the middle is
Olivia. Good evening, y'all.
What the? That is so much like
Texas twang.
That is so much like Nerdfap when we used to introduce ourselves. When he's like, I'm the detonator monkey. Yeah. It's like, you're what? You're the
detonator monkey.
Ryan, what the hell are you saying? I'm the detonator monkey. I'm like, why are you talking? If you can't even say your own name, why are you even on the show? All the way over there, with on top of a building with the Don't Unfriend Me flag flying. Don't Unfriend Me flag. The flag flying. Okay, we're done. That's it. We're leaving. Good night, folks.
Matt likes to put me on the roof. I tend to think of it as the penthouse.
Oh gosh,
but,
that's a big picture of me.
Oh, I forgot to put on the right video. Anyway, what the hell's your name, guy, dude?
Oh, it's Leroy.
Yeah,
Leroy Jenkins.
I don't have that.
You don't
I don't have the videos anymore.
Well,
what happened?
I know.
Leroy Jenkins.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
And down below me and my Brady Bunch. Hi.
You're supposed to look up. There you go.
There you go. Is whom?
Hi, Amy, everybody. And I have to acknowledge it's Good Friday. I mean, it's not like a happy day for us.
It's Red Friday.
But
it's Red Friday.
It is Red Friday, but it is Good Friday.
I guess it kind of correlates because isn't this when Jesus was crucified? So it's kind of Red Friday. Is that sacrilegious? Oh,
I don't think so. He was pretty bloody.
I wasn't trying to be rude. I mean, he did die on a cross. I'm pretty confident they didn't use zip ties. I mean,
right.
It's the blood of Christ. I mean, every time you see Good Friday, isn't there something with the palms and the crucifixion that certain Catholics
Palm
do?
Sunday was last Sunday.
Okay.
Today is Good Friday, which is the most solemn day for us.
I sound like an asshole. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend everybody. I mean, here, I'll move over so Olivia gets struck by lightning. That's not what I wasn't trying to be rude. I'm just like, it kind of, anyway, we have another guy. We have a Catholic priest with us tonight. And he's gone. Folks, down in the lower right-hand corner, you may not know, but I think you do because a lot of you love this episode and had a lot of positive things to say. Fathers' Lives Matter, a good friend of my friend, right? You didn't date my wife, right? You weren't lying to me last time?
No,
I didn't date your wife.
So Alan,
Lord.
Alan is a good friend of the show. And we have a yearbook here with a photo that we want to share.
Shit, you did go through and find that photo, didn't you?
I sure did.
We sure did.
I love your yearbook.
Yeah.
Liv, you need to take a photo of it for me.
Okay.
And first of all, Alan, I've seen Amy. Amy and I have been friends now for about 3 years, and we kind of knew each other on Facebook before that a little bit. And I've seen her tickled before, but she's got a little crush on you, man. Because what do you mean I missed Alan? When's he going to be back? When can I see him?
Yeah.
So not only do you have high school girls who stalk you, Amy's kind of stalking you a little bit. She's excited that you're here.
Yeah.
Aw, Amy, how
I really
are you?
enjoyed
Nice
your
to meet
show.
you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed your show with Matt and Olivia. And
Thank you.
I have to say, we have a very similar life. So I'm just very intrigued by you. That's all.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's all. Let's talk after the show.
It's not awesome that we have similar. It sounds awful, actually. But
Okay, are you guys done dating? Great. So anyway, Leroy,
I found Alan's senior picture too. Nice blonde tips.
Oh
Alan.
boy. Oh, not that one. Oh geez.
So do I have the photo? Where is it?
I sent it. I texted it to you.
So how long did you? No,
Just a second ago.
that's Megan Kelly nude. That's not him. Oops, wrong photo.
Sorry.
Oh,
Wrong-
that was supposed to go to me.
Whoa, sorry about that, Megan. No, I don't have it.
I sent it to you.
Well, you didn't send it well. You didn't send it effectively. So, folks, welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. I'll be honest with you. We kind of have a
delivered.
Did you email it or
No, I texted it.
to whom?
You. Hubby.
I don't have it.
Okay, Let's try this.
Why don't you try just airdropping it to me? All right. So anyway, we've had something we've been kind of doing here that's new is an AM show and a PM show. So I messed around with the cover a little bit, and I think we've got a simple.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, real easy, very similar to the AM one. The AM one obviously has a little bit of sun, but and I know it's New York City, but whatever. So here is first image, and we're gonna have some questions, Alan, and it wouldn't be a show of the Don't Friend Me. Holy Lord!
Whoa!
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
That is.
Hey, it was during my boy
boy.
band days. Okay.
Is
Backstreet Boys was popular back then.
Yeah.
is that Cold Steel? Is
Oh my
that the look I'm seeing?
That's the Magnum. That's the Magnum.
That's Magnum. That's not Cobalt. That's pretty good.
Kind of
dude.
looks like a photo negative of one of the Milli Vanilli characters. I'm trying to know which one.
That's funny.
And his look is his lips don't move either. So that's pretty good,
Right?
And then let's see what else
The
we got.
infamous picture.
We've got here's
Oh,
you're sending her mixed signals, dude. She does look like a stalker, doesn't she? It's all
Oh,
in the
dude,
eyes.
she was so excited, and I was so not excited.
Dude,
Oh,
I've never
there's the
seen a
camera right in my
man.
face.
I've never seen a man disengage, lean back so like he's just like, there's no need for a balloon in between here. Let's not save room for the Holy Ghost. I'm just gonna go ahead and move back.
I was trying to be polite. I was trying to be polite because I knew she really liked me and she really wanted to dance, and she had the courage, came up and asked me, and I was trying to be the nice guy.
You
Right.
made her year.
So let me make sure. Let me make sure I can read between the lines because that's what I do here on the show. You had sex with her afterwards. Then. Is that right?
God knows.
I didn't want to make her feel bad, so I just gave her a mercy bang.
Yeah, no, I was a virgin till I was 21. So
I'm
just
sorry.
throwing that out there.
Listen, Alan, you got military in here. I apologize. I'm not trying to. I understand you are a spiritual man. You're a good dude, but we get a little rowdy on the live show, so bear with us.
No, that's fine.
Alan, tell us a little bit about you, where this whole thing started. We've heard your story, but I think people would love to hear it again. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then you're going to ride with us tonight for a little bit, and you're going to take some more abuse.
I'm down.
Cool. Go ahead.
So basically, do you want the Reader's Digest version or do you want the long version?
Yeah,
That's the first question.
Well, you're talking about someone who suffers from ADHD, so like I want the you remember highlights, and you would get like a story and you would peel it out and take it with you, and it was literally on like a card this big. That's the story. No, give it to us. Give us whatever you want. We love it.
So basically, my name's Alan Donovan. I am a father's rights activist. For anybody who does not know what that is, basically I stand up for fathers who have lost their rights, because if you've paid attention to society these days, society shits all over fathers. Doesn't matter where it's at, it happens. And I went through the family court system back in 2015. I had to fight to be a part of my son's life. I taught myself family law in 2 different states, the state of Montana and the state of Kentucky. I represented myself in family court after spending a whole bunch of money on an attorney getting my ass kicked by said attorney. I took it upon myself to represent myself in family court, not once, but twice. I won the first time, getting 50-50 custody. I was back a couple of years later. I won that and walked out with full custody of my son. In that process, I started this group called Fathers Lives Matter on Instagram to kind of journal. At the start, it was to journal my adventure, if you will, through the family court process to get support for myself because I didn't have it. In that process, I started gaining followers. I started building this really great community, and it became about giving support to these fathers, because when I won full custody, I could have shut Fathers Lives Matter down, or I could have handed it off to somebody else because my fight was done. But I didn't. What I did was I turned it into a platform where all the knowledge that I had gained, all the experience I had gained, I started passing it down to these other fathers. And then a podcast, The Father's Truth, was born out of that, because These fathers needed something else. They needed a platform that would give them a voice to tell their own story with no judgment, nothing, just very raw, very open and out there. And they get on this platform and I interview them like what we're doing here, but they tell their stories and I listen and I put it out. And it's the 25th highest rated family podcast in the world. And I've been doing this for almost a decade now. And I've talked to fathers in every country but 2 countries, Russia and China. I've never talked to a father from Russia or China. It's a crazy world, man. I get death threats for what I do. So that's basically the long and short version.
Well, that's I mean, Russia and China. We've actually got a couple. We've got a listener from China. But we think they killed him, so I don't think we have him anymore. But we do have a couple Russian listeners. Yeah, we're pretty confident. We're working through the U.S. Embassy to see if we can find FimDep fan, but we don't know. We don't have a lot of hope. But Russia, we actually have 3 or 4 listeners from Russia, which is interesting. So we've got some people all over the country. So it's interesting you say death threats because I think there is a growing concern that because I don't know if I wanted this to be a political podcast when I started it. And I think I wanted it to be more of like current events, but really just to kind of encourage conversation. And we wound up being a political podcast, which is fine because it still is kind of the same thing. But when you look at this and you look at the impact and having the 12th highest podcast, what do you think is next? What's the next step? Where do you want to go? And by the way, you have a pod mic. It's a very high quality mic for $99. Very beefy. Get yourself a small, get one of these little pop filter and put that over there because it does tend to pop a little bit. Otherwise, great mic. Yeah. Okay, so what's next for Fathers Lives Matter?
Well, I just took a phone call 2 nights ago with a movie producer that wants to work with me this summer to do a movie. It would be actually my second movie. My son and I were in a movie last summer dealing with fathers' rights. So I'm kind of going in that direction. I'm working to get a publicist. What movie was I in? It's called Deadbeats. Okay. It's going to be out on Netflix actually next summer. And basically it tells the story of a bunch of different fathers that have gone through the family court system and what it's been like for them and how the family court has treated them.
And what was the last?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
You said you were in a movie prior. What was that one?
So the movie prior was called Deadbeats, and
gotcha.
Deals with the family court system. This upcoming one is going to be another documentary. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to be laying the family court system fucking bare, digging down deep into it and exposing all the nasty, dark secrets that this thing is built on. Is kind of the goal.
Help you there.
Yeah, I'll set me up. Amy and I are here for you.
Everybody wants to help. I like that.
If you need character and witnesses, Leroy doesn't have any kids, so he has the Navy, and he's underway right now. So he's joining us.
It's been a busy week.
Yeah,
we don't even know if he has a family anymore. This guy constantly, all he does is work. So go ahead, Amy.
Just work.
I was going to say between Matt's particular story and I have a very good story as well that I think people would be, one, completely shocked by the government fund agencies that supposedly work for the family courts. My own personal
CPS.
I've had my interactions with them too. Matt has a better story with that, but I have a story with it's called Balls, which is the Loudon Abused Women's Shelter. I have a great story with them. So.
Yeah, and I have a happy ending with CPS, which I got a bunch of them fired. So that's what I'm happy
That's
about.
good. That's awesome, man.
Oh, dude,
CPS is a fucking joke, dude.
It is.
It's so bad.
They are.
You had mentioned the second half, the mother of your son. We actually dug up a picture of her and figured we would show it to you as well. There she is. living a very happy life and doing very, very well.
Is she wearing a poncho?
When you eat that amount of food, you've got to make sure that you wear a poncho. You don't want to get. It's like when you're at SeaWorld. You don't want to get splashed.
Was that a poncho or a muumuu? It kind of looked like a muumuu.
It really is.
Like a poncho.
It's really up to you, and you
That
get
was
to
for
decide.
the ketchup splash zone.
That's interesting. Anyway, so listen, we'll talk about Fathers' Lives Matter throughout the show. This is kind of a unique thing. We've been extremely busy over the last few nights. We had 650 people on last night, which is one of the highest shows we've ever done, and I imagine it's going to slow down a little bit. I was looking at some of the numbers. Just to people, we like to share, and it's not what we would call a humble brag. It's just a matter of everyone wants to know, hey, where are we at? What are we doing? So let's see, 2.2 million. This is actually over the last 7 days. So 2.2 million people reached, content interactions, 214,000 followers. We're at 189.4. We have gained 1,500 followers on Facebook in the last 2 days. 2,100 link clicks, and 990,000 minutes viewed of video. We just broke 1 million while we were sitting here. We had over 1 million minutes viewed in the last 7 days of our show. So we're pretty excited. That's a hell of a result. So we want to say thank you. If you're new here, we imagine that the show will continue to build up as it always does. It's a little bit early at 7. When people get done with dinner and get done with their ride, we'll start seeing some people come in. So let's get to it. We've got a lot to do. Leroy, Amy, you have not had a chance to talk on the bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Amy, I know you know it. That's where we found you first, under there. And we brought you back here, and it's important to talk about. So I'm just wondering, Amy, your first initial thoughts of it, seeing some things unfold. Go ahead.
I meant to reach out to my dad because he was Coast Guard right there for many, many years. He works with FEMA now. He's retired, but he still is in their claws. They pull him in once in a while. I haven't reached out to him yet, but yes, I lived in a house that you could literally see the bridge from our
down by the river.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Patapsco, hun. So
Patapsco. And what's funny is I didn't know it was a river. I'm like, it looks like a tributary or a cove, and everyone's like, it's a river, and I'm like, I don't think you are using that word right.
That area, by the way, it's cleaner now. Curtis Bay was a Superfund site for many, 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 many years. It's one of the most toxic waterways. Like, you could not eat anything out of that water forever.
It's like Yokosuka, Japan.
So gross. I wouldn't even swim in that water. I mean, only
was it as
water
bad as
ski
Cleveland,
maybe.
where the river caught on fire?
Probably not anymore.
How bad? Which movie was that? Where like, it can't be worse than Cleveland when the freaking river caught on fire. There's so much trash.
That was real.
I know it's
That
real. It was
real.
in a movie. I know.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That makes
no sense.
Somebody made a joke about the river catching on fire in a movie when they were talking about the. Okay. Leroy, there's a thing called movies, and they do certain. Okay, so Amy, you don't get lippy with me. I'll put you in timeout.
Right.
So Amy, your first gut reaction on this? You see that come down. You grew up around here. You've been across that bridge plenty. Initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts. I swear I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I think it has come out now that there were more cars on the bridge. I swear I saw cars going in on when you're looking at it on the right side of the film. I swear I was like, those are not work vehicles. Those look like people driving. So I think it's a tragedy. I do not think this was intentional. I think it was a horrifying accident where clearly there was some mistakes made and also some failures of systems. But I mean, gosh, I feel bad for literally everyone involved. I mean, I can't imagine being on that vessel. I can't imagine working on that bridge. I mean, we used to watch the boats. We used to watch the lightning hit that bridge like during bad storms. Like it's a huge bridge. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
Like,
And I posted that photograph. They took it offline. And remember, one of the first photos I showed, and they're like, well, no other vehicles went in. And I'm like, wait a second, where's this photo coming from? So I think why they obviously, let's address that, why they would do that is because you're talking hundreds of thousands of tons of metal under and concrete. And they can't get to those people. I don't care what type of divers. This is going to take a long time. And like we said, if the components of the bridge, asbestos is found, that slows down. They're going to have to cut every single inch of that. They can't get a crane out there because you're not going to get the leverage on a vessel. So there's just a lot of complexity to it. Leroy, have you had a chance to come out of the cave and take a look, or are you?
I have.
Yeah.
And I saw your show the other day where you were kind of examining this, and I agree with 99% of everything you said. Just for full disclosure here, folks, I got helmsman qualified on a vessel about that size, and this is no more than what, 3 years ago. So something of that size, I kind of know how it works. Since then, there has been a couple of actual Navy captains who had shown up on Good Morning America or that kind of thing to basically dispel the myth, to basically say, hey, look, this could never happen, and yet it did. It absolutely can happen. Vessels of this size, there's nothing they're hydraulically controlled, yes, but everything still runs off of electronics and electrical. And so right before the vessel, a good 15, 20 seconds prior to the vessel making contact with the bridge, you see the lights blink. And this is the part that Matt, when I was watching your show the other day, the part that you kind of described. When you lose power on a vessel that size, everything just locks up. You have no steering whatsoever. So whatever the rudder, whatever the position that the rudder was last locked in, that's where you're headed. And so I don't think it was a conspiracy theory. I don't think it was anything intentional. Yeah.
Well, let's address a couple things. So people are saying, well, the black box went down for 2 minutes. The black box and the what is closed caption recording, but it's actually not called that. There's a different system that's used in vessels and aircraft and everything else. Doesn't matter. When you lose power, it's not shocking that you would lose the capability for visual and that you would lose recording capability. To think that the entire systems of the vessel it's going to be able to record data that is no longer working because there is no power.
Right.
It's not like the black box is like sitting here and like listening to every single conversation, or it usually is going to squawk whatever the radio communication is. It's going to look at any type of teletype or telecommunications that come into it. It's going to look for any type of message traffic. It's going to look for whatever's put into the nav computer, whatever is responding back, any type of warnings or failure systems from the onboard computer. That's what the black box records. And if you don't have any power and you've lost all power to the system, it would make sense that it would be dark for 2 minutes. So I don't think it's as much of an own as people say. People are like, oh, of course, Epstein. You know, they stopped the. Come on, people. It's like,
there's like a rebooting time, right?
It's not just but it's not just that. It's just that they had lost power considerably. Now, there's also something else that we talked about last night that we didn't get into, is that this vessel had some service done. Yeah, VDR, thank you very much. It had service done while it was in port. And that's going to be interesting to hear what was done. Because then you have to ask yourself the question, if they knew it was propulsion, if they knew it was something with the engine, if they knew it was with the computer, whatever it was that had an issue, then why didn't they nurse that thing out to sea and give it guidance just in case? This is the problem when you stack with minimum amount of crew. You have to skeleton crew because you reduce margins because fuel costs are so damn high, because the tariffs going into some of these ports and the penalties that they have to pay for being overloaded because they're trying to get everything on one vessel. These type of things are causing rash decisions to be made and skeleton crews to be present, and then mistakes are going to be made. So let's look at it. Let's wait a little bit. But once again, so Alan, I don't know if you had a chance to follow this. Amy, I'll cut right back to you. I want to give Alan a chance so he doesn't fall asleep. Alan, what are your thoughts on this thing?
So I think it's a conspiracy. I'm going to go the exact opposite way of you guys.
Okay.
There's just too many things going on with it. Ukrainian captain, number one. There was no guidance going into the harbor, going under that bridge. There was no guidance. Tugboats had pulled away 20 minutes before this. And it hits only one of two key points that would cause that entire span to go down. I mean, that's astronomical odds, not to mention with that collapsing, that shuts off that port. I was listening to somebody yesterday talking about how this is what they would call a black swan event from a financial standpoint. It's stuff that's going to affect the market, not right now, but later on down the line, because that port serviced hazardous material, fuels, corrosive materials. That's all closed off now. I heard one estimate that they were talking about 5 years before they get a new bridge in place. I mean, to me, that just sounds kind of perfect right before the election, right? Gives Biden something to claim. I don't know. It's just too many things for me to think that that's just a straight up accident.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So, Captain is Indian.
Okay. Because what they were saying was he was Ukrainian.
Yeah, that's what happens with disinformation. It happens all the time. And the fog of war comes out. So originally, what they did is that they took this captain. And first of all, the captain wasn't piloting the vessel. It's my understanding that it was two of the harbor master pilots that stayed with the ship and were guiding it through underneath the bridge. So they did. And the whole point is tugs don't stay with them unless it's extenuating circumstances. I mean, it's ships go in there in and out, in and out, in and out. Black Swan event, yeah, I mean, a Black Swan event is an event that isn't annualized or something that's unpredicted. And it happens quite a bit. Black Swan events can be good things too. This is not a good thing. This will obviously, it's going to set back that area. It's going to set back the throughfare of these chemicals. It's going to be $15 million a day for the city of Baltimore, which is an incredible amount of money for that city, considering it's a shithole to begin with. There's a lot there, but you know, we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see what happens. And a lot of people believe in what you believe in. A lot of people are like, this was on purpose. It was intentional. I'm gonna wait a little bit and see what happens. So we'll go from there.
Can I just chime in really quick? I think it's really easy to see it. Well, I know. Shut up, Amy. I do think it's very easy to see it as a conspiracy. I don't know if you have a map of the waterways there, but
I do. I'll get it. It's like I've been living and eating and breathing this.
Yeah. So you can pull up like where the port is, and then the waterways they have to travel to get out past the bridge.
Yeah,
I'm
working on it. Jeez.
That's what it is. And then
so pushy.
I was just going to show you a relationary where the main important places are. I'm not a water person. I mean, I lived on the water, but I went not, So the Coast Guard, like one of their main places in the U.S. is here. It's on Curtis Bay, which is like, I don't know how many nautical miles, but by water, 5 minutes, I would guess, maybe 10 from here. Mm-hmm. So the protocols and the laws and everything, they're pretty strict. I mean, DNR was always out there. There was always police out there patrolling. Yeah. So yeah, that's Curtis. So like the Coast Guard yard is right there. It's not a place that you can get away with anything. I mean, it's so heavily monitored.
Oh yeah, so you got sub bases there. I mean, you've got they're working constantly on cutting new naval vessels. Maryland is a huge area. Annapolis is a huge area for the United States Navy and construction of military vessels. It's extremely well guarded, and this area is very well guarded. It's not because it's taking Class 9 chemicals into it. It's fairly secure. Go ahead, Ames.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, I feel like it was one of the most secure water. I mean, you were not going out on your boat and drinking and driving in this area. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's always police activity. It was just very heavily patrolled. You never felt unsafe there. I mean, besides eating out of the water or swimming in it, but again, I think it's better now. I'm pretty confident it's better. I actually just texted my dad to see if he wanted to chime in with anything. But you also have, Sparrows Point, which has so many. I don't know what they have like a power plant over there or something. I'm not even sure. It's just such a heavily industrial area. Plus, you have all the military bases nearby, like you said. You have the Naval Academy in Annapolis, which is probably 30 minutes by water from here.
Yeah, it's not that far away.
Not, especially if you have a fast boat. I mean, like the Navy does. I'm just saying, I don't think this would be a targeted conspiracy type thing. I could see how people are thinking that, though. Like, it does it looks very like, wow, that's weird. These things are all strange. But I guess because I literally grew up there for like 10 years of my life, 10, 15 years of my life. So I don't know. And we were on the water every day.
Yeah.
But
well, something to think about. It's something to hold on, Liv, pop that back up when you can. It's something to. It keeps riding over Alan's head, and I don't want that to continue to happen. It's something to think about, right? So we've talked about this ad nauseum. I think right now the dust is going to settle on this a little bit. Is it normal to be going 8 knots when leaving a harbor? The interesting thing is when yes, I mean it's not unheard of, but it also is the amount of current. And what we were talking about tidal currents is there's undercurrent and top current. And this also had a side current coming in when he went across that channel. So understand there's the channel that he's in, and there's a channel wall. And in that channel wall is a slipstream almost of air, of what you can consider, but it's actually water. This is where the main movement of water takes place, and the way the channel is built. What you usually see is a retaining wall at like a 45-degree angle, and then boom, the dredge is there. And that water shoots through those sides, and it keeps the ship, the vessel down the center. But with the amount of rainflow that they had, right before it got to the bridge and it lost power, there was a current that came in. There's another inlet feeding, which is essentially fresh water coming in or brackish water coming in. And because of the rains, what you could have is a situation that's putting stress on the actual rudder. And you could have had a situation where something happened, prop slippage. You could have that undercurrent coming across, which would impact the timing of the engine. Engine sees, shuts down. We don't know. Something happened. And what they call that is an interaction. And an interaction took place that made that system fail. And whether it was electrical or hydraulics or whatever, we don't know. But that's the interesting thing. The video that I showed last night, which some people got to see it, and we'll just do a quick touch on this. And I don't want to take the entire show. My computer is inundated with just files because I have not had a chance to clean all this up because it's just been nuck and futs. But if I show you this, this shows you the path of the vessel as it was in harbor here, and this is where it got its service. And then it came across, obviously, tugs went on both sides of it. They went to the cleats of the ship and then pulled it so it could move horizontally, which ships don't do, and then got it into the inlet, and then it did its bank turn, and then it went into the channel. And once it was in the channel, these tugs will break off and then do the racetrack loop and come back and engage with any other vessels that they need to. And then this thing goes in through the channel. So this is the... if I show you right here, this is the Curtis Bay channel that we were just talking about, where this water is coming from. And you see multiple veins of water coming through here, which this is where the ship possibly could have lost power. And then that inlet, before it lost power, pushed the ship off just slightly, few degrees off to the port side. And when it did that, it had to course correct. So it would obviously change its rudder, so it would turn to the starboard side. But then if it loses power, then it's in a lock at the starboard, like Leroy said, which would explain the constant veering off into the pylon. This channel, you can see this is accurate based upon the dredge and where it's built. It does narrow and it has some tricky spots. And when they come in, they kind of come in at an angle. But if you see its original path, Let's just watch this segment so you guys can pick up on this. This is really an interesting point. Watch this. Oh, no, I'm getting it.
Wrong. She started turning to starboard just around the same point where the Curtis Bay Channel joins the main channel. But why? Were there some interactive effects maybe? For example, if your starboard bow is no longer subject to pressure from a bank, it could cause a turn to starboard. If that did happen though, the ship's bridge is full of professionals who are more than capable of correcting it with some engine and rudder movements, so was there something else stopping them? If, for example, the ship suffered some sort of power failure at that point.
Now, what's interesting is that this guy didn't see the video. This guy saw it over, and he's overseas, and he is a Royal Naval captain, and he cut the video and did the animations for it, but didn't have all the scuttlebutt. He didn't know all of these things, so he was making guesstimations. Some of this is now knowledge, but he's like, well, if it was a power situation, well, then the rudder locks in position, and that would so a lot of these things align with what we've been saying on the show for the last 3 days, and this is what we try to do by getting it right. Here's the last part, and then we'll go ahead and shove off. No pun.
For example, the ship suffered some sort of power failure at that point. You would expect it to veer off under the effects of interaction at exactly the position where the underwater profile of the channel changes.
So you can see that channel would be pushing on the backside. Once it leaves that retaining wall and it's in that channel and it no longer has what an aircraft would call slipstream, but that would be the undercurrent moving the ship along, you have an influence on the aft of the ship coming in from that channel, which would happen even if you were under power. A slight push may happen, and then you would make a course correction and adjust your heading. This is what Leroy will tell you as a helmsman understands that you make slight adjustments, whether you're going through a canal or you're going through any other place like a harbor or whatever. Because he was not under power, this would essentially put him in a free fall or a drift, which would allow the vessel to turn without being under power. And that's why people are saying, oh, it looks like he just turned into it. Well, that's not the case, because we know we have visual evidence of power cycling 2 times, loss of power, restarting of engines. He has 4 engines, 4 bangers on that thing. More than likely running 2 when he came out of the harbor, engaged the other 2 cold, which is why you see that dark black smoke, or because he reversed engines, and then wasn't able to maintain, and then dropped anchor. Obviously, as we know, at least one, in my understanding, is that the other side failed, which did not stop the vessel, which we know it wouldn't, because essentially the way you got to look at this thing is that if this boat, by weight and size, was to be laid out by single railroad track cars, it would be over 1.75 miles long.
Yeah.
Think how long it takes to stop a train. And they have they have disc brakes that they can apply. They, in the sense of assisting those wheels to do a staggering skip back where it won't actually slide off or create a derailment. But that still takes a long way for that train to stop. Imagine when you're not under power, how difficult it would be for that ship. So,
like where another channel joins from the side. Either way, regardless of a reason.
Anyway,
he sounds like Ewan McGregor.
He does. He's pulling his lights.
All those English people, they sound pretentious, right? Like this guy's.
They sound so smart.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a very.
I would like to add something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
That if in the next week or so, I would expect that there will be an interview released by the pilot or pilots who were on board to answer Alan's question about the tugs. Normally, tugs are used to help push or pull a vessel larger in size to get it away from a pier side or a wharf, something along those lines. They're used to help kind of propel something, but in this case, all that they would be used for is to deliver the pilot and to pick him up after they're done.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was also hearing that they issued a Mayday, like
they did
quite a few minutes before this happened.
Wouldn't if
was it 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, well then
Yeah,
that answers that question. Then if it was only 2 minutes,
yeah, it was 1:27 a.m. And then I think final impact was 1:29 to 1:30. I've got the breakdown on that video; it'll show you. But yeah, they did Mayday, and they said, "Listen, we know guys are working on the bridge," because they obviously could see that and notified them to stop traffic. There's 2 gates that are at the lower part of the bridge, 2 gates on the top. They actually can change and open up 3 lanes going one way and 1 lane going the other. They do this during rush hour, and it's a really novel thing in the Delmarva area where these bridges can open up, which would be eastbound and westbound traffic. During the morning, everyone's going in, so they open up 3 going westbound. Yeah, except you understand. So they constantly have the ability to close down these gates and shut them down and redirect traffic in an instant's notice. They will do it in the middle of rush hour. And it's so they are practiced at that. Also at those gates, there's Easy Pass, so you can go through with your key card, or you can pay at a toll. And there's always an attendant on one side, also in case of an emergency or those gates won't open. Amy, go ahead.
There's usually, not always, but especially at the bridges. This is, again, I haven't lived there in a long time, but when I lived there, there was always a police officer, like an MTA cop, at either side, just sitting there for any kind of emergency. So if they had to pull out, they were literally a couple feet from the gate, so they could block traffic pretty quickly, I would guess.
And the interesting thing is then we hear again 2 minutes like the black box. Blake says, Blake, we've already explained it. When you lose power on a vessel, those systems have to reboot, brother, and you're going to lose certain capabilities. It's very much like an officer who gets in a struggle, and they're like, well, why doesn't his camera on his vest? Well, a lot of them have to engage it, and you have the ability to turn on the recording or turn on the audio. Now, some departments have 24-hour recording, but most of them, it goes from dollars to donuts fairly quickly, and they don't turn it on, and then they go, oh, well, they don't have any video. Not everything's the Epstein. Okay, listen, Epstein, I get it. I'm with you. Epstein didn't kill himself, okay? I'm 100% with you that guarantee, in my eyes, Epstein was whacked. But this isn't necessarily that. 2 minutes of dead air on the black box where it maybe have gotten audio but nothing else isn't surprising, considering that video and nav computer was completely down. And radio is also something that secondary power can power. And the reason why is because it's a low yield and you need it for rescue. So radio is going to work when secondary auxiliary kicks in. You're not going to get your engines back. You're not going to get steering and steerage back right away, or hydraulics if you've lost them. So let's just keep this in reality, right? Reality. It's an important place to be.
It's those are UPSs that help power the radio and any computers and stuff like that. One last thing.
Power. Tell them what a UPS is. They're gonna think what Brown can do for you. Tell them.
Well, hold on a second. I wanted to get back to this point about the pilot real quick.
Okay. Well, I don't want to tell them what UPS is after uninterruptible power source, folks. That's what it means. Go ahead, Leroy. Leroy, we have an obligation to help people understand what you're saying when you're using code words.
The pilot. For the period of time for which the pilot is on board the vessel, the captain of that vessel is not the captain. The captain relinquishes his power to the pilot so that the pilot can safely tell navigation, hey, 5 degrees to port, 10 degrees to starboard, to help maneuver it in and out of trickier areas. That's their job. And so that's why I was saying, I think that an interview that will potentially come out will reveal quite a bit, because I don't see a pilot intentionally tanking something like this for, it was pretty plainly, in my eyes anyway, an accident.
There were 2 pilots, by the way, 2 pilots on that vessel from harbor. Just FYI. Amy, go ahead, and then we're going to move on.
Yep. I didn't know that. And I watched most of the show yesterday. I didn't get to watch all of it, but I didn't know about the 2 pilots. That does seem odd. I still don't believe it's a conspiracy. I will say this, it's such a heavily traveled area. If you've ever had the pleasure of driving the 695 Beltway, God bless you. The speed limit is 55. The speed limit is 55. And they keep cops everywhere. And you could easily go faster, but you're not allowed to, and cops are everywhere.
That's because it's a liberal shithole.
It's the worst beltway ever. I mean, truly, I'd rather drive the 495, and I also hate that one, but at least you can go pretty fast. You can go 70 on that one, in the fast lanes at least. Easy Pass, whatever it's called, the fast, whatever those things are called. But
it's called that I'm not living paycheck to paycheck lane.
Right. I know. I'm sorry. It's true.
So freaking expensive.
Yes.
It's so expensive. It's so worth it. It doesn't matter. But if this is going to be a true like terrorist attack or some kind of deliberate action, I feel like it would have been targeted towards the rush hour time frame, because you would have had mass casualties at that point. Yep. Not only because you wouldn't have been able to stop traffic. Even with a great cop, you're going to have the a-hole that swerves around them to get on the bridge, not knowing what's going to come. You also do have a ton of boat traffic. You have people going in and out of the harbor. People do actually commute to work via boat in that area. Baltimore's 5-10 minutes down the way. It's just how it is. Like you could have done so much
Shrimp is there all the time, and the CEO is on there with Lieutenant Dan, and they are constantly.
You have Domino Sugar.
And if it were a terrorist attack, somebody would have taken claim.
And not only that, and here's the most important thing: if it was a terrorist attack, which I disproved in the first 5 minutes, is that we would not have open seafare lanes anywhere near any harbor on any U.S. soil. They would shut it down. Coast Guard would be there. They would have a Navy presence, just like they did with 9/11, and they would ground all flights. They would ensure that everyone was at anchor, and anyone who isn't would be approached, would be hailed, would be quartered, would be boarded or sunk. That is standard maritime law. When you have a situation like this, what's that?
Nothing. I was making a joke.
Oh yeah, tarred and feathered and quartered. I was making a joke. But that's the point. Is so. Listen, it's not here to convince anybody for what you to believe. You can believe whatever you want, but that's really immaterial. Opinions are fine, but these are the facts. And that's the problem, is that everyone's like, well, look at the explosives. There were no explosives. And tell me you know nothing about explosives by not telling me that you know nothing about explosives. There was no explosions on that bridge. Okay, so let's move on. We've done this for 4 nights. I am exhausted, and I'm ready to move on. Okay, good. Everybody else? Amy, you had something to talk about. Trump visits a fallen officer in New York, while like Biden and Obama and Clinton decide to go ahead and fundraise, and then they go ahead and talk shit about Donald Trump taking advantage of a dead fallen officer when it's his family that invited him. Walk us through it, and then I got a video to show.
Yeah. So, oh my golly. So, Barack Obama and Biden, and Clinton were having a fundraiser in New York. They did not allow the press into this fundraising event, which sounded like this huge. I mean, there has been some videos that have been leaked. They did talk trash. So have a lot of people who are Biden supporters. They've been talking a lot of trash about Trump's, basically saying he was virtue signaling and that it's kind of like a slap in the face for him to show up to this wake. He was invited by the family. And I don't know, my opinion, well, maybe I'll just hold my opinion. I don't know. I'll hold my opinion. Let's watch the video.
So I'll just give you a little bit of history before we dive into the video. But this convention was designed, and they were bragging ahead of time that they're going to raise $26 million, right? And of course, Biden and Clinton are all there in their $3,000 Yasser Arafat suits. That Die Hard. I have 2 myself. So they are there to raise this money, and they're pretending like there's this giant magnanimous cry and a beacon for people to go and support Biden. And this grassroots effort to support Biden. Yeah, they charged $100,000 for a photograph with all 3 presidents. That's about as grassroots as it gets for the elite. Give me a break. We're going to go ahead and listen to Outnumbered here. They're going to talk a little bit about it, and then we'll come back for comment.
In a sea of blue today, honoring slain officer Jonathan Diller. The visitation begins at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We'll, of course, show you those images here on Fox News. Trump was invited to attend the wake by Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman. Meanwhile, President Biden will also be in New York. He'll be at a star-studded Democratic fundraiser at Radio City Music Hall. The guests of honor include former presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton.
Holy crap. I just completely frickin' forgot.
What?
Well, we have 5 people here, and I always check off 4 voices I completely ignored Olivia.
When?
But oh, never mind.
You asked my opinion at the beginning.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry. Oh, whew. I was like, oh shit, I'm not getting any tonight.
Event dubbed a new NYC, New York City money bomb is expected to raise a historic $25 million for Biden's campaign. Today, two presidential candidates, two very different events. And, you know, Lee, we don't know. President Biden could show up, could go. Also, I would note the White House has put out their deep condolences for this family. They have said, Karine Jean-Pierre, that she's praying for this family as well. But it is unavoidable.
Right, because KJP really screams religious to everybody in the audience.
And I don't think she even mentioned his name in her statement. Did she even mention the officer's name? I didn't fact check that, but I heard that, and I'm like, oh, I didn't listen to it.
I'm sure they call him Lincoln Rayleigh or something. I'm knowing them. So let's listen to the rest of this.
NYC split screen. So there are two images, two presidential candidates here in New York City. And as I understand it, you will be attending the funeral for Officer Dillon.
I will. We'll be heading there from here. And while his one-year-old son will have to grow up without a dad, may not be watching our conversation here for many years and be able to appreciate it when that time comes for that family.
Folks, I just want to address something really quick. The reason why we talk about things ad nauseum is because there's still a lot of disinformation out there. And I feel after we've impacted almost 3 million people, it is my responsibility to continue to portray and educate on truth and fact, not on supposition. So even though you may not like the fact that we've covered this for 3 days, which I completely understand, maybe it's time just to go touch some grass, get some air, go relax, have a picnic, sing Kumbaya, have a nice Sichuan salad or some shit, because we're going to continue to cover things when people lie in order to make money and clicks. I don't do that. I don't appreciate it. And I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that my viewers have all the information that they need to make educated decisions. We have an AM show. We didn't cover anything about the bridge this morning. That was almost 2.5 hours. We dedicated the first block to it because it's important. We wanted to get Alan's perspective as well because we wanted to know that he was a conspiracy curer and a nutter, and we found that out, and now we're going to move on.
Back at this moment, know how grateful I am as a New Yorker, as an American, that we have heroes like Officer Dillard, who was standing watch, who was willing to give up his life in defense of safety and security of us as.
So as we know, obviously an amazing video. We know the laws when it comes to New York and how they prosecute,
and
the lack of
for whatever reason you're not able to make the way.
Shut up. Lack of prosecution that we've seen from progressive DAs. So here's what you have. You've got Obama, Biden, and Clinton coming up from the center of the stage from like the lower ninth ring of hell. It was really eerie. It's like almost something to me, because it was a closed event, seemed like some sort of Mason or, Bohemian Club type shit. Like weird, like I was waiting for them to sacrifice sheep to Cthulhu and stuff. It was just, people were like, here's my firstborn, go ahead and brand them with the emblem of the Biden, Clinton, and Obama regime and use them and sacrifice them to the gods. It was very, very Masonic and weird. And I want to get people's thoughts. I'll find that video so you can look at it. Let's start with Alan and give it to him and see what he has to say, and then we can kind of move on. So we're talking about the fallen officer, Trump. Was he right to go or not?
I think it's a great supposition of the two differences in the candidates between Biden and Trump. Trump's going to this officer's wake, okay? And Biden is going to a fucking fundraiser. Come on. I mean, Biden should have been at this officer's wake. I mean, can you show any more disinterest by going to a fundraiser with fucking Obama and Clinton, the rapist? Come on.
Yeah.
It's sad.
With thousands of Palestinian supporters and Hamas supporters outside of the event, which they blocked off. They had 4 hecklers, but they did background checks on everybody. They checked everyone who got in here to ensure that they would limit the amount of heckling. This was a controlled environment. Very, very, very strange. So, Alan, what do you think? I mean, do you think this stuff resonates with people? Do you think people actually believe this crap on Trump and see that he's peddling? They said he was peddling his Bibles and all of this other stuff, and he's bringing fascism. Yeah,
I think that there's, like we've seen over the last, what are we at now? 6 years, 7 years if you count previous when he was running before he became president. There's still a lot of sleeping people out there that just look at the talking heads, you know, the MSNBC, the CNN, the NBC, and that's where they get their facts from. I mean, go to social media. You see it every day. You still see people, oh, Trump's a fascist. They don't even know what the fuck a fascist is. They're not even using the word correctly, but that's their word of the day. You know, I think Trump did right. I think he had every right to go to that officer's wake and, you know, pay his respects for somebody who puts their life on the line every single day. But New York's a shithole. So go figure. They're going to say what they're going to say.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Livy and then Amy, then Leroy. Thoughts? I've got the video. I'll play it in the background here where you can see them rising up like from, it's so weird. It's just like, I don't know, man. Wait, power failure, hydraulic steerage locked up. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're back. We're back. But here's the video just so you can kind of see what you think. So they're all in the middle of the floor. It rises up, and here they are, you know, saluting, pointing. Who the fuck are you pointing
at? It's like a
at?
Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah, it's like, where's the serpent, right? Where's the serpent in the cage? And it's just
weird.
It's so, look at them shaking hands. It's
Like,
like, didn't you meet before when you were down there doing the circle jerk? I mean, is that the hand you used for the circle jerk? You should wash that thing. It's just strange.
Does Biden even know where he's at right now?
No.
No.
He's looking for ice cream or little kids, one of the two.
Right.
Or
He's
both.
looking for someone to sniff. Liv, your thoughts?
Well, I think Trump always goes to, even after not being in office anymore, he always goes, and Biden doesn't. And that shows that Trump really does care about the people, and Biden doesn't. Biden can give a shit about us. About the funeral, I guess so many people wanted to pay their respects. They had a second one, not like a second wake or something today. The governor of New York tried to show up.
Oh,
and
you're stealing my thunder,
they
woman.
Booted her, and they did not let her come in.
Right, let's get to the next video. Okay, so
I didn't know. I didn't realize that was all part of
that's
it.
a great segue, honey. Here it is. Here's the video. I've actually got it for you. The governor came in and tried to. Here, let's just watch this real quick. I mean, talk about us. Listen,
She looks a little butthurt.
Oh, she looks completely butthurt. I have had. That's Kathy Hochul, and she is a liberal governor who decided to show up, and they told her to pound sand. Is this what needs to happen to send a message to these politicians? You're not welcome here. Mm-hmm. We don't want you here. You don't like us. We're not your type of people. You don't support us. So go fuck yourself.
You're the reason that my husband got shot, because you let these criminals back out on the street.
Right. And we've seen this from the courageousness from these firefighters and officers who've turned their back when a governor drives by and stuff. It sends a very clear message. And I believe that people take, some bravery from this. It takes some courage from this, because if the officers are going to stand up and knowing that the police are going to stand up and push against this kind of stuff, it empowers the people to make these decisions. Amy, what are your thoughts? And then, actually, this is your segment. Leroy, your thoughts, and then Amy.
Cool. Well, day before yesterday, I was listening to the news, and I was listening to a presser where KJP was going on, and she was doing the typical gaslighting thing where she was basically trying to make the case that it's been the Democrats the entire time who are in fact the supporters of the police, who are in fact the supporters of this was like day before yesterday,
totally.
right?
Wow.
And so I was listening to this, and then simultaneously while that's going on, right, now you've got this story in your face that is basically saying Trump went to the ceremony for this fallen officer. Meanwhile, Democrats are off doing their own thing, having a fundraiser where they raised $29 million, right, and basically just talked a bunch of smack. Now, when KJP gives these pressers and she's like, oh, it's been the Republicans who don't like law enforcement the whole time, and it's been the Democrats who really support them. And then you have this in your face. You have this as no more than 24 hours later as a major headline.
Yep, listening.
You have to at some point, like there's got to be some percentage of the people on the left, the people that would normally vote Democrat, some percentage of them have got to just put 2 and 2 together and go, wait, something is rotten in Denmark. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is the protest that was outside of the fundraiser. So, this is reminiscent of what BLM did to Trump during his rallies. And now, the foo is on the other shoot. And you've got Biden and these people who are not addressing it. They're not talking to these people. Listen, the Muslim population in the United States is not a small demographic. You don't want to lose those 2.9 million votes. He's going to have to do something here. Obviously, Israel is not going to listen to anyone. Israel's not going to stop bombing Gaza. I told you they wouldn't stop. You're going to have to threaten Israel if you're going to get them to stop. And the only way the United States can do that is to stop aid. And they're not. That's a false and empty threat. There's no way. We have funded them for the last 50 years. We're not going to stop funding Israel, because even though they may not be the greatest choice always and a partner that we can back up everything they do, they are simply the best choice in that area to represent U.S. interest. But this will come home to roost when you've got Jews who are upset with Biden because he's soft on the support, and you've got Palestinian and Muslim sympathizers who are also feeling that softness from Biden. And this is what happens when you're a wishy-washy douche plow who can't take a stand. Amy, what else are we missing here? Anything else from this whole thing?
I just want to add really quickly that even to the people who believe that Trump is a virtue signaler and not doing this for the right reasons, he's at least consistently a good virtue signaler. I mean, he always shows up for the fallen. He reaches out to the families. He is there when it counts. So if you truly believe in your heart that he's not doing it for the right reasons, at least he's doing it. He actually donated the money to Towers of Tunnels to pay off the mortgage for this family. I can't imagine what this wife is going through and her poor son, who will never get the chance to know his father at the hands of politicians, because the blood is on their freaking hands, and good on them for denying them. Biden could have been there. His schedule did allow for him time to go. Whether or not they said maybe he's not welcome, I don't know. Maybe they said that. Maybe that's why he didn't go and they kind of glossed over it. But Biden, from my vantage point, didn't want to go and didn't go because he could have been there. Obama could have been there. Clinton could have been there. They could have also said, we're having this fundraiser. We're going to take 50% of the proceeds and we're going to give it to this little boy for his future because his mother is now without a support system. She has nothing. Yeah. And there's a lot that could have been done. They could have honored this family in some way.
They could have said something. How hard is that? Hey,
Nothing.
how about we donate? How about, folks, how about we take the money that you guys have donated and we appreciate you, and we're going to go ahead and give 1% to this family. How about do that? But no,
and then half to the police force who defends your freaking freedoms and who puts their life on the line every day. How about we get them something, new cars, I don't know, whatever they need. Like, just
listen,
freaking
Amy, you brought this podcast down and your negativity. So we're just going to go ahead and tell a joke. So John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, and Bill Clinton are on top of the Titanic, and it's going down. And John F. Kennedy goes, "Women and children first, We as men will stay behind. And Richard Nixon goes, fuck the women and children. And Bill Clinton goes, do you think we have time?
That is awesome.
Not accurate.
So I want to shift gears, and The View goes after Rand Paul. I'm going to say the FBI thing for the last, and this is twice that I've done The View, and I can't stand The View. But first of all, I'm not sure why Rand Paul looks like Barry Manilow, but somebody needs to tell him that mock turtlenecks need to go, because the curly hair and the mock turtleneck, he looks like an L.A. Junk lawyer. You know, he looks like a billboard that you would see. Have you been in an accident? Call Shep Shepler, you know? And this is what Rand looks like. And I like Rand Paul. I really do. But this is the mock turtleneck's gotta go. Watch this. He is on there to talk about his book. He's on there to talk about immigration. He's there to talk about socialism. And this chick, Anna Navarro, who is a socialist fat cow. And yes, I don't care. Yes, I'm making fun of her. She needs to eat salad. Yes, constantly. A lot of it. She is, I think, from Venezuela. And she wants to go ahead and defend the regime by saying they weren't socialist. Go ahead. Amy, you don't have to ask me for...
I feel weird getting up in the middle of the show, but I
see Olivia,
Just raise your hand.
and I see Leroy, I see Alan, I see Amy, and Amy looks like she has to go pee-pee. Amy, go pee-pee. Amy, go pee-pee right now. Just go pee-pee.
I don't usually go. I usually can hold it, but I gotta go.
Yeah. You know, I feel like I'm Ruprecht the monkey boy from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. May I go to the bathroom, please? Yes, you may. Thank you. All right.
Such a good movie.
So we can't show this without Amy. So
in your new book, I'm
going to stall.
I've got a segue here.
Oh, okay. Good.
Somebody mentioned something in chat, and I looked it up. So apparently, LeBron James and several other A-list celebrities are complaining about squatters moving into their neighborhoods.
That's right. That's right.
They're in a $5 million home, like right next to LeBron James, and they're throwing crazy ass parties with cocaine and all through the night. And apparently, LeBron James isn't too happy about it. Well,
Alan, get the car.
So good. Go to more neighborhoods like that, and then maybe you'll stop freaking voting Democrat.
Well, this is like sanctuary cities too. Look at all these Democrat mayors who are like, sanctuary cities, we're all for it as long as they go ahead and overrun the borders of border states and stay the fuck out of our city. Oh wait, you want to come here now? Oh no. This was a window dressing law. We didn't actually want you to come here. In Montana, a big border problem over in Montana there. A lot of Canadians breaking through there, Alan.
Well, we got a lot of Canadians, but we've always had that problem. But no, seriously though, earlier today, my son and I, we were out, and it was early this morning. It was like, 6:30 in the morning, and we stopped at a town pump, and it was just full of Mexicans. Like, I walked in, and there was like 20 or 30 Mexicans in there, and I was like, holy cow. Parked next to us was 2 vans, you know, those pedo-looking van things, like you expect them to be hanging out the window offering candy.
Just been
stuff full of
hours
Mexicans. Yeah, and I was just like, wow.
Mexicans in Montana. Did you see Bigfoot too?
I grew up there.
Not today.
There's no Mexicans in Montana.
No,
are
wait.
there?
We had one Hispanic family in our school. One.
Yep. But see, so here's the deal. We have a developer here in the state, here in town, that has brought tons of what he claims are legals from Texas, from South Texas, up to work on all his construction being legal. But it's everywhere now. Here, it's unreal.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Montana never had a Canadian border problem. It's all North Dakotans.
Yeah, it's North Dakotans.
Fuck those North Dakotans.
So God, really?
That's an inside joke.
Yeah, it's very, very funny. It's very funny. I could feel the humor. Wow. Well, here's the thing. Immigration obviously is not just for border issues anymore. You're seeing it all over, and you're seeing it here in Virginia as well. Tom's, thank you for the $50. We appreciate that. $52. I don't want to sell you short. It always means a lot when people tip. And thank you, Ed, for $20 as well. Folks, you can tip by going to linktapgo/The Dumb Show, or you can go to PayPal directly, as Olivia's going to put that up right now. Never mind, I already got it. You can put PayPal by paypal.me/don'tunfriendme. Make sure to use the spaces. Or you can just go to LinkTapGo and do the same thing. If you want to be seen and have it show up and get your name in lights, which is always important in this illustrious show, you would actually do a tip. If you want it to be anonymous, all you go ahead and do is send to PayPal. We appreciate it. It keeps the lights on. We are not paid shills. We are not here to give disinformation. We are funded privately. We are a family of 4, along with a lizard and a cat, and everything helps.
My 2 favorite children.
Yes, go right into the pocket of Olivia's wardrobe. Here is
Amy, are you feeling better? Did you
Yes,
did
thank
you
you.
go
I'm
poo-poo?
sorry.
Did you go poo poo?
Did you take a poo-poo?
Did you take a poo poo? Did you go poo poo?
And I wanted to update you guys on our toilet paper. We did invest in the Charmin quilted.
Dude, yes, greatest shit ever. Isn't it awesome?
It's very
Told you.
nice.
Wait, what kind? What kind is this?
Let me
Greatest shit
explain.
ever?
It is instead of a straight line on the perforation, it is a zig. It's a wave. So when you pull it off, it leaves this beautiful S curve, and it folds beautiful. It's just the greatest thing.
God.
It is like it's just like caramel for the bumhole. It's
Caramel for the butthole.
it's just outstanding.
Like
All
wiping
right,
your
I'll be right
ass.
back. I'm gonna run out and buy some, so I'll catch you guys on the
It's the
You-
Charmin
you sh-
brand.
Well,
Which
you're
I
in
don't-
Montana. You're in Montana.
Oh shit, we
so
probably
it should
don't have
take-
it.
Well, I was going to say it probably will only take about 35 minutes to run to the local store. So,
And it might cost you like $45 for 6 rolls,
45 bucks,
but
yeah.
Right.
so all right,
I'm in the
let's
Rust
watch
Belt,
this.
so there's no way they have it. I'm here with the pores.
No, you're in Ohio. You'll get raped, robbed, and shot on your way there.
yeah.
You'll be
They're gonna know.
plugging it in and using it as a battle dressing. So here's the video. Enjoy this. The View twice in one day. Let's look at Rand Paul in his mock turtleneck. Shep Shepler. Covering accidents. If you've slept in your home, call Shep Shepler.
Oh God.
Oh.
Is no longer alone on the debate stage.
Oh, Whoopi.
Ugh.
Whoopi,
She's
you
got
look
a new
like
hairstyle.
you look like a black Gandalf. I mean, seriously.
you shall
Not
not
pass.
Oh, I just scared the cat. Sorry.
Her head looks like a mop.
It does
I was
look
just
like-
thinking mop bucket.
Oh my God.
I just don't like her. I feel bad talking
All
about
right,
her.
guys, this is Whoopi, and this is The View. I've got to go because I got to go ahead and buff this fucking this floor out before I leave. All right, here we go.
Again, socialism. You don't
She's so hot. I can't believe
Who
she
is
left
that?
Fox. That's that girl from Fox that was pregnant who I thought
Oh,
was
I
so
used to
hot.
go out
Who
Rand Paul.
used to be on the morning
She was
show.
the morning from
Yeah,
Fox
she's a
and
complete
Friends,
little
yeah.
lefty, but she's smoking. She's a smoke show. Okay.
Bernie Sanders is no longer alone on the debate stage. It seems like we're hearing more and more about socialism. In fact, 43% of Americans think it's a good thing. You are on the complete other end of that. Tell us.
Okay, real quick. You know what Whoopi looks like? She actually looks like
seems like we're hearing more
when
and
you
more about-
typed in
No.
American Revolution and powdered wigs on Google. This is the picture that came up instead of some white guy from England. It's
the AI version.
She's like, let me tell you all about all the slaves that I owned on my property. I tell you what, 40 acres and a mule. She looks like a magistrate from the American Revolution. She looks like Benjamin Franklin.
She
Debate
does.
stage. It seems like we're hearing more and more about socialism. In fact, 43% of Americans think it's a good thing. You are on the complete other end of that. Tell us about this book.
Slaughter
Well, one of the things we learned in writing the book is a lot of people say, well, we're not for Stalin, we're not for Hitler, we're for Scandinavia. So as we were researching the book, we actually found that Bernie Sanders' form of socialism actually is unpopular, and he would never get elected to anything in Denmark. In fact, the Prime Minister of Denmark, when he heard Bernie was going around saying they were socialists, says, no, we're not socialists. We have private property, a stock exchange, we have low corporate income taxes, we don't have a minimum wage. And the big difference, and this is where the big lie comes from. Bernie says we're going to give you all this free stuff, but we're only going to tax the rich people. In Scandinavia, they tax the working class 25% sales tax, and an income tax starting at 60,000 is 60.
I found Whoopi's. I found the triplets. They could. I found Whoopi.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god!
We are getting activated, aren't we?
I hate this job.
Oh.
I hate this job.
So really the difference between their country and our country is they do have more free stuff in Scandinavia, but they pay for it with massive taxes on the working class and the middle class.
But we have massive taxes here, but we don't get any free stuff. We don't have free health care. Our public education system is a problem. It seems like the only people that get free stuff are the very, very wealthy.
We have a different form of taxation in our country. Ours is much more progressive. So we've taken the poor off of the rolls. They don't pay income tax anymore. Most people below $50,000 don't pay any income tax. The top 1% in our country pay 40%.
Our audience says that's not true.
Well, IRS statistics say that the top 1% in our country pay 40% of the income tax, and those making less than $50,000.
Nobody,
pay any income tax.
Nobody in that audience makes less than $50,000. Give me a break, okay? No offense, but The View is not going to allow. Everybody makes more than $50,000. Let's be honest.
Let me ask you this, because I live in Miami. There's tens of thousands of Venezuelan exiles living there. You talk a lot about Venezuela in your new book. I get a lot of political ads from the Republican Party. Donald Trump has tweeted this. Many have tweeted this. If you vote for Democrats, they will turn the United States into Venezuela. Do you think that's a fair statement to make?
Well, if you vote for a socialist, you might get socialism.
Come on, don't do that. Maduro is
true.
not a socialist. He's a corrupt, murderous thug who is starving
Yeah,
his people.
socialism.
That's true.
Yeah, that's not true? Maduro's not a thug and a murderer
it's not
who's
true.
starving his people.
Let's have a conversation here. Chavez was a socialist, and socialism was the economic system
And
of
they
Venezuela.
stole. It's a kleptocracy. It's not socialism.
But here's the question is, they voted for socialism. They voted for, let me finish.
No, I can't let you finish. If you're going to say Maduro's going to
Oh.
work, and I've got a bunch of neighbors and friends who know this. Don't do this to me. Don't mansplain. I'm a 47-year-old girl.
His new book is called The
Holy shit!
Gee, I want to go on that show.
I want to go on
What a
that
shit show. Damn.
When that woman would say, "Don't mansplain," I'd say, "Bitch, I can't explain nothing to you anyway." So what do you? Go ahead. Who wants to? Alan, you're the guest. You take it first.
Dude,
Why is that woman?
That body
completely wrong?
language. That body language that she had with the arms all closed off like that. Well,
Yeah.
I don't even understand why Rand Paul would even bother going on that show.
Exactly.
It's a complete waste of fucking time. You're banging your head against a wall. Yeah. It's a joke.
Especially wearing what he was wearing. Can I just say,
Straight out of the 70s, baby.
here
Tea
it
party
is.
time.
Hi, Bob. Yes, we're here with Entertainment Weekly. We've got Rand Paul on the carpet. Rand, what are you wearing tonight? Well, I'm wearing Barry Manilow. And my Greg Brady came out, and here I am. We're going to be doing sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. I just do holy shit, Rand Paul. Amy, what do you think?
Oh my gosh, sorry, it's my dad finally texted me back.
Oh, what did he say?
From what perspective? I'm like, Dad, just give an opinion or like something that hasn't been said in the media.
Tell him, don't be a liberal.
He's not. He's not at all.
I know he's not. So your thoughts on The View here, your thoughts on Rand Paul. I mean, it shocks me that you would throw yourself in the fray with blood-sucking leeches, and then when they start sucking your blood, you're shocked.
Well, yes, that doesn't make any sense. But, I think a lot of people try to take on The View. Some people can do it more successfully than others. And I don't know. I kind of like Rand Paul. He's not my least favorite person. I don't know about his book. I didn't read it, but and I probably won't. But I don't hate the guy. I think I liked his dad a lot.
I loved his dad. Yeah, Rand Paul was amazing.
So I don't know. I don't know. I think The View to me is hard to take seriously, especially feel like the last 6 months has been really bad for The View. I feel like they have just decided to tank their own show.
Yeah,
They're
the
just
worse the rating gets, the worse Whoopi looks. It's like
Yeah.
it's been a progression downhill.
I just think they're nasty to everyone. I don't care where you fall on the political spectrum or, entertainment perspective. Everything I see, and I don't watch the show, but I do see clips here and there. It seems like they hate everyone, and they're just not nice to anyone who comes on their show, from what I've seen. So I don't
Well,
watch the show.
I know Leroy is chomping at the bit because the word socialism was brought out, and that rings his bell. So Leroy, have at it, buddy.
When I was first listening, first of all, they didn't even let the guy finish, right? And so if you're not even going to be forthright enough to allow the person to answer the question that you asked,
Do you want to tell the story? Or you're going to let me finish?
That was me.
Then
let him talk.
Then you're in this weird situation where you're just basically shutting down the opposing point of view. Now, where I come from in terms, and I posted this on the DUM site the other day.
Yep.
I was talking with someone about socialism literally yesterday while I was trapped in a vehicle for 16 hours with them. And they were trying to make the point that, and they were these far lefties trying to make the point that socialism was probably a good thing and that it had never been really successful. And all the examples that we've ever had before were, in fact, communist in nature, not socialist. And I thought to myself, all right, well, tell me what that means. Tell me what you think a perfect socialist society would look like. And what they started describing, right, was this society where one man serve your fellow man, right? You get these social credits, right? And the harder you work or the bigger the problems that you solve, you get more social credits, right? And it was a situation where, you never really had to worry about food. So long as you participated in the system, you didn't have to worry about healthcare. And I was thinking about this after the fact. I was like,
wow,
that sounds like capitalism.
Not only that, I was like, what? I'm like, we've got that.
That's exactly what capitalism is. It's this idea that you earn these social credits based off of the service to your fellow man. That is capitalism. It's a one person per one person agreement, right? And what socialism does is it takes kind of the same formula, but it imposes a third party that then oversees the entire transaction and eventually turns authoritarian.
Well, that's the thing is when people go, listen, communism and socialism aren't the same thing.
Who dat?
And my thoughts are, well, an HIV isn't AIDS.
Right.
That's the first thing I think of. You're right. HIV and AIDS are not the same thing. But the natural progression of HIV, ultimately, without medication and without some unfortunate good luck or some fortunate good luck, it will turn into full-blown AIDS. The same thing is with communism. Once you get on the path of communism and you embrace progressive leftism, the only option is, because it doesn't work, is the narrowing of the belt. And I've said it a million times with communism. You get equal portions of something, but unfortunately you also get equal portions of nothing. And that is communism in itself. Why run the race when the award and the prize at the end is for free? There's no incentive. So yeah, people are idiots.
If I could just throw one quick comment out there. Stalin once said that the goal of socialism was, in fact, communism. And one of the things that we've always seen just time and time again in the U.S. government is that whenever they put together a small system, some small program that they're trying to yield results from, that when it fails, the first thing they do, the first resort or the first game plan is to, in fact, pour more money into it without any consequences or without any thought of, is this good or bad? They just throw money at it. And that's exactly what those two systems are designed to do.
And they cut it. And not only do they cut it, before they cut it, they take away your ability for free speech. They run state-run media, and they take away your arms so they can take away more shit when it doesn't work. That is the recipe for socialism. You can sit here and pretend, but that's where totalitarianism comes from. So when she's like, he's a dictator, no shit, lady.
Yeah.
Every form of communism has a dictator in charge of it that all had the best intentions. Do you want to know what communism is? Socialism without the good intention. That's communism. So you can sit here and pretend that it's worked, but it doesn't. Everyone's like, Denmark and Sweden, they're not socialists, you jackass.
No,
and if
they're
you
not.
go tell a Swede or a Finn that they're communist, they will frickin' bitch slap you with a fish.
Yeah. A stinky one, too.
A Norwegian yellowback. All right. So, ladies, I'm sorry, you don't get an opinion on this one. You're done.
I don't get an opinion on it.
Okay, go ahead, Liv. Have an opinion. I was teasing.
Damn.
So the first thing I thought of when I saw that is Rand Paul looks like he is trying to be a Harvard professor. He's trying to look smart. That's his author look. And he's trying to sell a book.
Right. Like he should have been wearing a smoking jacket.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
He looked like he was trying to say, I'm from Harvard and I'm very smart.
Hello, Whoopi. How are you doing, darling? It's wonderful to see you
Yeah, I
again.
should have had one of those pipes.
Hello, right.
Those pipes. The other thing I saw is the girl who was like this, woman, whatever, reminded me.
Fatty?
Yeah, reminded me of Violet from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And as she's stomping her feet, I want the candy bar. And then her blowing up because she took the candy she wasn't supposed to. That's what I was thinking.
Oh
so
my
I've got
God,
Violet, and a Harvard professor. And that's all I was thinking about. So
You've
I
got to
have
take
no
her
idea
down
what
to the
said.
basement and dejuice her and squeeze her.
Man, did you just call her Fatty? Because I swear to God, I thought I heard you say you called her Fatty McFinkelstein or something like that.
I think that's good. Well, she's
Fatty
not.
McFatterson.
She's not Irish, so it's like Fatty
Little
Garcia.
Fatty.
Yeah, Fatty McFatterson. Yep.
Is it Fatty or Fatty?
I don't listen. It's not that her body type. It's that woman she projects her anger enough that she should be 98 pounds and Kate Moss. But somehow that woman gets all of her anger out and still swallows enough to be horribly overweight and obese. And to me, that's
What happened
just
to
a
Joy Behar?
Well, she's still there.
Is she still there? Because
Yeah,
she wasn't. I didn't see her there.
Well, she could probably had to go ahead and get recharged by the Cyberdyne T800 system because she's a fucking robot. So her batteries.
She's draining the joy out of the audience. That's where she gets
I'm sure she was sucking the marrow out of some child. I mean, you're a Curer. I know you believe in Andrew Kong.
Oh, hey now. Hey now, I'm not a Curer.
Listen, I know you're not a Curer. I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead, Amy.
The sign in the background said the political view, so I assumed it was like a different segment of the show. I don't know.
Listen, I only watch that show to make fun of it.
Yeah.
I get clips and I'm like, right. I don't.
I've never watched one episode of that. And I can gladly say I've never watched one episode of the Kardashians either.
All right, so here it is. So this is happening in the United States. And it's interesting. Folks, by the way, we appreciate all your support. We appreciate everything you do. I'm not going to give you a big, long spiel about thedumbshow.com, but you can go over to thedumbshow.com. We have got some great shirts. We have got some great product over there. And these shirts are not cheap. Everybody's wearing them right now, except for Alan wearing that other guy. Don't worry, I know Tim Jensen personally, so I like grunt style.
I wasn't sure the dress code tonight, so I do apologize.
Next time, we would appreciate it if you'd actually take some pride and wear your smoking jacket and look like Rand Paul.
Don't forget the turtle.
Can I have a cigar too while we're on the show?
As long as you don't catch your beard on fire, you can. That's fine. I don't want you get a drop on there. It's like, oh shit!
He's wearing pants, right?
Yeah. Well, you don't have pants.
Maybe
pants are as far as you know.
Can I read you?
Maybe not.
Yes, you can read this after I show this and do the pitch of the advertisement,
Okay, yeah.
Amy. TheDumbShow.com, folks. You can come here and peruse. It is a high-quality site. That is what we do. You can come over to the shop, and you can see all these wonderful things right here. If you want to get some coffee, you want to go see ladies' T-shirts, it's all here. Great quality product, Patriot-based product. It's all high-quality T-shirts. There's no tchotchke shit on my site. So head on over there, use code DUM10, save 10%. Last but not least, we would also appreciate it. Liv's going to do a pop-up here. You can go to the Dumb Show link, tap go/the Dumb Show, or go to PayPal to help donate. This keeps the show running. It keeps it free. We are going to have a club here soon. It's going to be a high value club, $10, $25, and $50 a month. But the things that we're going to be giving away make it worth a value. I can promise you that we have spent a meticulous, detailed amount of time with Terry and I, over 90 days, developing a plan for y'all. It's going to have things like one-on-one conversations. It's going to have group chat where we can all come in and have a conversation where everyone can be in 100, 200 people can all be on the phone talking and we can communicate. It's going to have some private shows. There's going to be some clubs. There's going to be t-shirts given away to every member who signs up, all sorts of stuff. So that is coming to a theater near you. Go over to thedumbshow.com for details. And Amy, go ahead and share your text, and then we'll watch this last video and punch out for the weekend.
Oh, I just want to preface this by just saying that this is my dad, so don't say anything bad about him because I will hunt you down.
Yeah, Alan. Alan, let's keep it in check this time, okay?
Alan.
I didn't ask him for any specifics. I just said, "Hey, do you want to share anything?" And this is what I get from him. And his name is Bob. So
Bob.
Here
we go.
He says, just surreal. Seeing on TV that morning, I couldn't understand at first that it really happened. I commuted on that bridge to MDE for years. MDE is the Maryland Department of the Environment. Seeing a video this afternoon of cars and tractor trailers driving across the bridge with the ship approaching the bridge in the background was a strange feeling. 6 workers, families going through the worst days of their lives. 2 of the workers should buy a lottery ticket. Mexican president's statement today was off base, in my opinion. I guess I could go on and on about this tragic event. Almost incomprehensible. So,
wow.
From my dad.
It's like Mike Rowe's parent, you know? I mean, his mom is just like genius.
Oh, I love her.
She is
awesome.
so wicked smart. Do you tell Bob that he's welcome to come on the show anytime?
I would love to get him on. He never wants to come on. He says, thank God the ship pilot notified the bridge authority or Coast Guard or whoever he called. Otherwise, death toll would be much worse. He would obviously what we all think. My dad is probably the smartest person I've ever met in my entire life. I'm not just saying that. He's my dad.
I really like your dad. I've met him a couple of times. I really like him.
Freaking nicest person, isn't he?
Oh, well, I don't qualify. I don't qualify for the nicest. I get that, but the smartest, I should at least be in the running. I mean, don't you think in the top 2 or 3?
Dad. So, like, you know, it's my dad.
So, whatever.
It's like God, and then like my kids and my dad are all on the same level playing field, and my mom, she's up there too. Love her lots too.
Fine.
We have a good family. I love my people.
You definitely in my circle have one of the best smiles. You and Olivia for sure. So that's true. That's important. And Leroy, I whatever. So, all right, let's watch this. I was going to say something about boobs, but I figured it was inappropriate. So let's move on.
You can comment.
Well, I was going to talk about your boobs, Leroy. They're fantastic. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. So here, before we get to this, here's the thing. We are all in the social media landscape, and we all have a political profile. And even Alan, being Father's Lives Matter, even just that statement alone throws him in the political realm, whether he wants to be or not, because of BLM and et cetera, et cetera. So we all have said, fuck Joe Biden. I think every one of us have said it in one way or another, right? FJB, Let's Go Brandon. I mean, hell, I've got a product line of Let's Go Brandon.
Shirt.
Right, we wear the shirt. Olivia says that to me in bed all the time. She goes, let's go, Brandon. I'm like, who's Brandon? And she's like, never mind. And I said, well, I guess it's better you making love to me shouting Brandon's name than you making love to Brandon shouting my name. So I'll just ignore it. Yeah. But this is now people are sharing their videos. And I'm not kidding. There are hundreds on Twitter. And we've seen this where the FBI is door knocking without a warrant and talking to people and asking them about their social media posts and asking to have a conversation in regards to what they've posted on social media that are not death threats. It might be a meme, or it might say F Joe Biden, or it might say, we've got to stand up and revolt, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. They're showing these videos. And here's one. Let's watch this first. And let's all get off of our phones and pay attention when we can. Leroy is the only one who has the right to do that because he is working. Well, Amy does sell houses, but this guy's doing national security shit, so he wins. Here's the video. Take a listen.
Can we just move in front of the house so the dogs don't go crazy?
Sure we can, yeah. Got a warrant?
I need you to identify yourself and let me take imagery of your IDs.
I'm not going to show you my credentials on the phone.
So you said you were with the FBI?
That's correct.
And why won't you show me your credentials?
We did. I showed you my
I didn't take a look at them. I said, 1 second, I'll be right back. Are you going to show me your credentials or no?
Yeah, we did already. And we identified ourselves. So what we'd like to do...
I didn't look at your credentials. Again, I didn't verify them. I told you to wait, and I went inside.
Okay, that's correct. What we'd like to do is just have a conversation with you about some social media posts that you've made. Would you be willing to talk to us today about that?
No, I would not. I would like you to later talk on with my lawyer.
Okay.
Do you have identification?
Do you have a card or something
cards?
from your attorney that we could reach out
No.
to?
No. I'll get back to you.
Okay, all right.
Do you mind having your attorney contact the FBI office in Oklahoma City?
What's the number? What are the names of the agents?
I'll Google it for you.
Google? Yeah, right?
So you're refusing to identify yourselves?
No, we've already identified them.
I can't tell you how many civil rights violations, but for this guy to brandish his holster when you are specifically wearing an untucked shirt to hide your sidearm,
Right.
and you're wearing civilian clothing to be approachable and not intimidating, is intimidating. The wraparound sunglasses, my mom raised me to take fucking sunglasses off when you talk to an adult.
100%.
And there's some things that happening in Oklahoma that are shocking. This is just one of the first videos. Let's watch the rest of this. Then there's another one we can make.
Scam? This is a real thing?
This is real. They've been identified as FBI agents, yes.
And I did not take a look.
Okay, so the phone number for the FBI in Oklahoma City is 405-290-7770.
How in the hell do you expect her to... You know what? So I can go for my pin and get shot. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
If you just call me one day, then we'll be able to get your contact with us and we'll be happy to speak.
And tell him that Facebook flagged me for posts.
Facebook gave us a couple of screenshots of your accounts.
Okay, so we no longer live in a free country and we can't say what we want?
No, we totally do. That's why we're not here to arrest you.
We totally do.
Well, you can't arrest me for
We're not
freedom
here.
of speech.
We're
We
not
live in
here to arrest you. Well, ain't that nice? Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the consideration of that I've done nothing wrong and you're not going to arrest me. That's well above board for this administration.
Okay. Right. Exactly. So it's kind of weird that you want to come talk to me about me exercising my freedom of speech.
We do this every day, all day long, talk to people.
Okay.
Really, it's just an effort to keep everybody safe, make sure that nobody has any ill will or bad intent or anything like that. And we've got no reason to believe necessarily that that's you, and that's why we just wanted to have a conversation.
So do you have a conversation with everybody on the neighborhood?
Do you have information of anybody else in the neighborhood?
I mean, all I've done is exercise my right as an American citizen on a public social media platform with my personal opinions. Correct? Okay. Most of the individuals, right, in America, especially older generation, right, have Facebook. Are you questioning all the citizens in America?
We certainly would if we had any sort of concerns.
Okay, so you have concerns about my personal opinions?
If you don't want to talk to us, then you can...
I'm definitely not going to have a talk with you.
Well, thank you for your time this morning, and feel free to reach out to us.
Okay, they're so-called FBI.
Get the fuck out
I love her.
Check their plates,
Who
lady.
is the female with these guys?
Who the fuck
Right.
gave them
Yeah.
permission to park in the driveway?
Right?
Yeah, why
Yeah,
are they
federal
in your
agents
driveway?
don't park in your driveway.
Check the freaking license plate. Yes,
rental
they don't
car.
have front plates.
Feds don't generally drive around in Nissan.
Yeah. Rogues.
Rogue.
Oh, it's probably a rental car.
Yeah.
This is Rola Abdel Jawad in Stillwater, Oklahoma. This
And I am not.
America.
And I am not suicidal. All right. So
Oh my gosh.
So that's the first one. Hold on, we're not done yet. We got more to watch. I know you got something to
I really
say.
thought that was a scam.
Yeah,
I would have
it's
called
not.
the police.
Here's another one.
Come back. That's a great.
Love that.
Big Gyllenhaal there. Come back with a warrant.
Let me tell you, if people don't understand, and I'm not an alarmist at all. I'm really not. I've never been that way. I'm not a prepper. I'm not an end of doomsday or whatever. I mean, Olivia knows I am a cautious man, and I've always been that way. But these are Gestapo tactics. Them dressing like civilians, them wearing beards like they're overseas and they're running ops. This is the shit that we did when we were deployed. So I don't think people understand that one of the first things you do when you're deployed and you're in country and you're working,
blend in.
You blend in. And you hide your true intent. And you always hide your strike hand, right? You never demonstrate who you are. You never have any distinguishing features that set you out from the rest. It's extremely concerning. Alan, were you military?
No, I was not. Okay.
You got that disposition. You remind me of a buddy of ours who comes on our show, Ryan Samuels. You look a lot like him, and he has his own podcast. Let's watch this. But I'm telling you right now, if you put these guys in CVEs or put them in, sand camo, you could put them in the middle of Afghanistan. You could put them in the middle of any type of conflict in the desert that you wanted, and they would blend in. They don't look like feds. They don't have the disposition of feds. And if I answered the door and I didn't see a badge in front of me, a gold emblazoned shield with the letters of FBI on it, I would have my sidearm out in a blink answering this door. Because immediately his posture, to me, as someone who's knocked doors, is threatening. Their position is threatening. They are staggered. They are spread apart. He's presenting his shoulder. He is presenting his draw side. All of these things, to me, make me uncomfortable. And they are there to talk, but they have a viable thought process in their head that there is a threat behind that door, and they consider that to be me. I am immediately firing off when I see this on my Ring doorbell. Listen to this, and then we'll break it down.
You're gonna put the video up.
Hi, I'm looking for Zach Montillo. Hello? Yeah, speaking. Hi, my name is Tristan Highland. Yes, this is me. You there?
We can't see it if you want us to watch it.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry. I'm sitting here just enamored with it. I'm sitting here staring. I'm like, oh yeah, look at the quality of this video.
Yeah, we can't see anything.
All right, I'm sorry. Did you see any of it?
No.
Oh well,
Just
shit.
this
No wonder why.
Right there is good.
But did you see this?
We saw the first part right there.
Okay,
but
good.
That's it.
All right, good. All right.
Yeah, speaking. Hi, my name is Tristan Highland. Yes, this is me. You there? I'm sorry, who are you? My name is Tristan Highland. I'm a special agent of the FBI. Are you home? We'd like to speak to you for a second. No, I'm not home. What is this in regards to? This is, if you'd like, I can meet you, or I can meet you.
So that's the full recording that I have. Now, right after that video cut off, I gave him my number to call me because it was very choppy. As you can see, I was repeating stuff. So I talked to Mr. Highland on the phone. And by the way, As far as I know, this is an actual FBI agent who works with the actual FBI, and this is a LinkedIn page showing that FBI agent who works in my city. So, conspiracy theorists, most likely that's the FBI, okay? People don't make badges and show up to random people's houses and then record themselves talking to them impersonating agents. Just side note.
True that.
Now, I would never drop a recorded phone call with the FBI, even if I had one, so you're going to have to take my word for this next part. I talked to this agent on the phone. The agent said that they were at my house, and the only thing that they could tell me is it was in regards to my social media. I asked them if it was about a specific post on my social media, and the reply from the agent was, no, we looked at your social media and found nothing illegal. We are just here to check off a box. It's procedure. To which I replied, you need to talk to my attorney. I've told you guys, be prepared for anything, and that includes the FBI coming to your house. So, my attorney reached out to them 5 seconds after I got off the phone with them, which was 5 minutes after I talked to them. They did not answer. They have not returned my attorney's call to this date. We have no further information. I have also reached out to more than one journalist, and they have reached out, as far as I know, and have not heard back either. So, the FBI is showing up to people's houses that aren't committing crimes and trying to check off boxes. Let me know what you think of that.
Wow.
My first question.
Okay, Liv's fired up. Let her go.
Well, my first question is, when are they going to go to Johnny Depp's house and Madonna's house? Because if I'm not mistaken, Madonna publicly said, I'm thinking about blowing up the White House. And Johnny Depp said, when was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
Right.
So when is that visit going to happen? Because they have openly threatened to kill a president of the United States. When is that going to happen? But apparently not. They're just after normal people who are conservatives and who don't think like them and believe in the Constitution and our rights and posting an opinion, because apparently we're dangerous now.
One more before, hold your comment, because here's another. Listen, I found hundreds of these. This one is I was able to confirm. They went and knocked her door based upon a tweet that she had. Here is this video. And when I say hundreds, folks, I can't even begin to tell you. I'm not kidding. They're all over the place. They're coming out of the woodwork now. Here it is.
Miss Anderson here? No, she's not. Miss Anderson here? No, she's not. Okay. Was hoping to see if I could have a couple of minutes of her time. She's not here. Okay. And she's at work. Okay. Is there a chance I can make an arrangement to come back and talk to her, or what's it about? It's about the Baton Rouge subject. Miss Anderson here? No.
So this is a longer video. This lady has, every time she posts it, she gets deplatformed and it gets removed. So now not only are they silencing people who are posting these interactions, they're shutting down these videos, and she can only play this 21-second clip. The moment she goes into detail and everything else, they go ahead and block and ban the video.
Jeez.
It's been seen for millions of times, 11.8 million times, and still they continue to block it, not to get the word out. I am not kidding you. This is the type of shit that happened with me with CPS. It was a very similar situation. And the FBI, there's a couple rules that you need to understand with the FBI. They have to identify themselves. They have to show you proper identification, whether you ask multiple times or not. They are required to show you identification. Second, they cannot be in unmarked vehicles. They are using a rental car. The license plate was JPP958, which is a rental vehicle. You can see the sticker on the right side of the car. So they're flying them in from certain offices where the Oklahoma or Tulsa office won't serve these. So they're flying them in somewhere, from somewhere like DC or another office that will encroach. So now what you're seeing is possibly a splintering in the FBI, where you have people who are rank and file who are following the civil rights of Americans, and then you have splinter factions in Washington, D.C., Chicago, and other places that are democratically ran where they're being weaponized. That's the only explanation I can think of, because you don't import FBI agents when you have a field office that's literally right there. It doesn't make any sense. Why are you bringing them into rental cars? Olivia, anything else you wanted to add to that? And then we're going to go to Leroy, Alan, and then Amy.
No, I don't.
Leroy.
Jeez.
In 2021, more than 400 people in Russia were arrested for things that they said on social media. And now you have FBI door knocking on various people. Don't know how many of them were arrested. It sounds like everything up to this point has been mostly conversational based, right? Or they're just going for a little fact finding. Hey, look, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we're just here to make sure that you're okay. You know, we just trying to check a box.
Help them understand, Leroy, what is this when it comes to human intelligence? What is it that they're doing right now? What phase of human intelligence collection? I'm not going to give it to you. What is this?
I'm not a humenter. I don't know.
It's assertion and collection. You are collecting because there is a certain level of parameter that you're looking for, a demographic that fits into a certain specific box, and you're starting to go ahead and ascertain which groups are that way. Go ahead, Leroy.
So my point was that, you know, now we seem to be moving into the same type of pattern, the same type of territory as 2021 Russia level of, hey, we're the federal government. We're the good guys. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And now we want to ask you about these social media posts. We want to know what your intent was behind it, or the meaning, whatever the, when you posted this, we want to know what you were thinking or your intent. At some point, somebody is going to have to whip out, these 3 books, which are available at the DUM store, and whip out the one that says Bill of Rights and point out the First Amendment to these guys.
Just wait 1 second while I whip this out.
And so this is a really frightening and very slippery slope, to have a Fed show up at your doorstep asking about that.
Let me tell you something before I get to Alan, and Leroy makes a good point. Human intelligence is it's really responsible for 3 different agencies are responsible for human collection. You have the CIA, and the CIA oversees human intelligence collection. They do work stateside. A lot of people say that they can't work in the United States and operate in the United States. That's not true. If they attach themselves to a domestic agency, they absolutely can. So if they go ahead and attach themselves to the DEA or the local sheriff's department or what have you, FBI, CIA can't operate in the United States. So that's completely not true. You also have the DIA, which is the Defense Intelligence Agency. Leroy and I are both familiar with these. What's that?
I said they sound fun.
Yeah, stop pretending to be ignorant, Dick. And then you have the Defense Human Service, and that's the one people don't know. That's the one that people don't understand. So that is another DHS, and it's not Department of Homeland Security. It's actually Defense Human Intelligence Services. The FBI has absolutely 100% no reason to be doing fact-finding missions. The only reason that the FBI would be doing it is that they are being sublet by another one of those intelligence agencies, and they're attached to do that. They are not specifically doing anything wrong against your rights by having a conversation with you because they are a domestic agency. They have every right to reach out to you if they find that there is a credible threat. And if someone has reported you that way, especially Facebook, they can do a quality check, and that's exactly what that is. Once they start moving down the parameters of questions, when you say no, now they are infringing upon your constitutional rights because they do not have any right to be there. They do not have probable cause to be there. So this is a human intelligence gathering mission. They can't slap you with something that tells you can't say these things unless you make a credible threat. So what they do is they knock your door to scare the shit out of you. This is a scare tactic. It's designed to get you to think, and it's designed to give you a verbal and a physical cue to shut the fuck up. That's what this is designed to do.
Which is
Period.
absolutely why you should act aroused.
Yes. That's right.
Is that what you are?
You
are right now,
you
Leroy?
should hang out with your wang out and rock out with your cock out, folks. I always know when he's in his third drink because he gets pissy when I ask him stuff. I don't fucking work in human. Okay, Leroy. Jeez, sorry. I thought you went to fucking A school. All right, so Alan, go ahead with your thoughts.
So Leroy, you're saying answer the door with a raging hard boner? Is that what you're saying? Show him the gun.
That didn't take long to Alan to come into the family. Congratulations, buddy.
Welcome to the family.
So my first question is, if the FBI and they're doing it to conservatives, are they cataloging MAGA supporters? Is that what this is all about? I mean, because it just sounds some sketchy shit if they just show up at the door with some quasi fact-finding mission to talk to you about something, but like you were saying, they're dressed in civvies. You know, they're not driving a issued vehicle. Very sketchy with everything they're doing. You know, is that some kind of fishing trip to find out, hey, we see Alan on here, we see Matt on here posting all this, you know, conservative stuff. Is he part of the MAGA club? You know, can we mark that down for him? Is that the box that they're looking to check?
Yes.
Yes.
If you guys recall from probably 2.5 years ago, when AOC had actually advocated for, hey, we should start going through people's Twitter feeds, making sure that no one ever forgets anything that somebody on the right tweeted. That was an open statement coming from Squad on the left of the day. And so, yes, that's exactly what I would think, Alan.
Yeah.
Here's
that's scary. That's scary.
Yeah, that's terrifying. It comes down to this. This is suppression of speech, but you need to understand something. About 2 years ago, people started making comparisons, like Gina Carano, James Woods, myself. I did some great episodes on 1940 Germany, and I walked through and I gave you this dystopian future and this fictitious story about hunting people down. And then ultimately at the end of it, I said, except this isn't fiction. This is 1940 Germany. And, you know, although people pretty much got it in the first paragraph and understood because most people aren't, you know, knuckleheads. The point is that this is what the Nazis and the SS did. And they would go in Gestapo tactics is that they started collecting who was the opposition. And it was the scientists, it was the doctors, it was the poets, it was the authors, it was the highly intellectual. And although if you look at the three things that all of those people have in common is they are all highly articulate, they understand their rights, and they understand exactly what they can and cannot do. To me, that right there shows you causality. And causation, because those three people have one thing in common. They all understand the Constitution. They all understand their rights. And that's not an accident. Amy, Olivia, and then we're going to go.
I just have a question about the cost of this
Oh, yeah.
operation. How much of our taxpayer dollars are going to fund them coming to door knock people who have not broken a law, who are minding their own business, and who are using a free social platform to express an opinion that some people may or may not agree with? Is this like swatting in a way where people are reporting these people of like a alleged crime?
I can do some rough math for you, Amy.
Yeah, I just have a lot of questions. I mean, why are we not? I've never heard of this. If someone knocked on my door right now, I would literally go knock. I'd be like, we're walking to my neighbor's house who's a cop. And if he's at home, we're walking to the other cop's house, which is the next one. Like, I'm not talking to you about my attorney who's also in my neighborhood. Like, we're talking to somebody in your, I'm just, you know.
I'm not paranoid or anything.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've got a gun every 10 feet in my house. Like if World War III breaks out, they're coming to my house for ammo.
But I don't know if I would be, as a woman, if there's two men at my door and let's just say I'm home alone, I don't know if I'm answering the door after they've identified, because I mean, we all have the cameras and the Ring doorbell and all the stuff. So it's like, you've identified yourself as FBI. I don't think I'm bringing a gun to the door at that point. I don't know.
If they're armed, I would answer it the same way.
Why not?
Listen, when the police showed up with CPS, I did not have a firearm. I absolutely put my firearm away. And the reason why I did that is because it was very obvious who these people were. I saw a marked police car. There was a uniformed officer. So I put my firearm away. But if those two guys came up to my door, you are fucking damn right. I am going to have my Benelli shotgun and I'm going to have my freaking sidearm on my hip when I answer that door, and my foot is going to be placed 6 inches from its opening, and I'm going to present my shoulder. I'm not playing any games, and I'm pieing off that area when I check it. Every time I put my eye out there, I'm pieing off segments of that. I am going to be in a situation where I'm heightened and I'm completely on the defensive. Because I look at you. Listen, everyone's seen the movie Terminal List with Chris Pratt. And he's sitting in the restaurant, and he's sitting there, and he's looking at the mirror across in the refract. You should watch it. But
It's
he
not a
sees
movie.
the.
It's like a series.
It's a 10-part series.
Is it whatever? Fine.
It's
I'm just saying, it took me a long time to get through it. It's very long.
Anyway, there's a raccoon.
Netflix?
I think it's on Hulu's. Or
Oh,
Max.
perfect. Okay.
Sorry.
It's a
it's
fucking
important.
TV series, and then you Google it, Alan. So anyway, so he's sitting in there and he's eating a Sichuan salad or something, and he looks in the mirror and then he sees obviously the opposite street, and he sees a guy in a hat with a beard and wraparound sunglasses, and immediately his warning signs go off, and he knows that this guy's an operator. Military spots military. I mean, Leroy will tell you what I'm talking about. You can see it. You can pick up on it. It's the mannerisms. It's the way they carry themselves. It's the eye contact they have with you. Military recognizes military.
Definitely like a Fight Club wink going on there. Yeah.
Right. And yeah, exactly. There's, like the sting. There's the brush across the nose. Those two guys show up at my door on the Ring doorbell. I am immediately in something is rotten in Denmark. Something is wrong. And my warning bells are going off. Even if they say they're FBI, until I see incontrovertible proof, which is a warrant and a badge, I don't even know if I'm going to open the door. That's probably the situation. Amy, go ahead. Anything else?
No, we have glass doors pretty much. I mean, not the entire door, but you can't see through our doors, but you can see when someone's present. We also have 2 cameras on our front door. So the doorbell one and then a camera. So I don't know. I feel like if I was home alone, I would probably flip the F out. And I feel like I'm just waiting for the next door knock. I feel like all the time, because my situation, I'm always waiting for someone to come to my house.
Yeah. Leroy, go ahead.
I don't know what I would do.
Piece of advice. If it's 3 guys looking like that or 2 guys, whatever it is that look like that and they show up at your doorstep, don't answer it.
Yeah.
You're
just
not
don't
home.
answer the door.
You're not home.
Don't answer the door. Yeah.
Right.
Because you asked the question before, like, what roughly does this cost the average taxpayer, right? I just did some quick math, right around $2,500. You figure each one of them is getting about $200 a day in pay, so that's 3. That's 600, right? And then you got 1,500 in airfare, plus the rental car, plus per diem, right? So they're easily blowing through $2,500 a day visiting. Maybe not for each house, right? So this is burning through cash, right? And you do have to justify this. The government does have some level of they're not going to authorize it unless it's, kind of necessary. And the FBI, I'm sure, has a little more leeway. But the fact of the matter is, somebody like that shows up, you don't answer it, right?
Yeah.
Because the first thing that should be going through your mind is, if it was really that important, if this is something that they really wanted to talk to me about, they would either have a warrant or they would kick the door in.
When is it going to be too far? When they're starting with your social media comments.
That's too far.
That is too far. But what's going to stop them from going to what's going to stop them from going to conservative podcasts and videocasts and us?
I'll tell you why. Is because I don't say stupid shit that would get the fib to flag me. because I don't have those feelings. Like, I get accused all the time of being a spook. I talked about it earlier today. I think I was accused of at least 100 times of being a spook, a government plant. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, and I you can go to my Facebook, just look at that video. That, and like I said, we're now well over 1 million views. And people are like, I don't trust this guy. He's a spook. And I said, listen, the reason why is because I told you I used to work Intel. And they're like, well, why are you bragging about it? I'm like, because if I don't, you're going to say I'm not an expert in the subject. And why am I talking about it? So I'm damned if I do, if I'm damned if I don't. So, but people think I'm a spook. And they're like, listen to the way he talks, but look at how he dresses. He dresses like a redneck, but he sounds like, you know. And I'm like, excuse me that I have a fucking education. Excuse me that I've checked out a book once in a while. I don't know what to tell you, man. But you know, if I'm supposed to wear like what, like a mock turtleneck and look like Barry Manilow, because Rand Paul's got that down. I can't dress like that. Here's the last thing, and I just say, FBI doing human intelligence, because that is what it is. It's a human intelligence fact-finding mission. You're going looking for something to check a box. That's human intelligence. That is not the standard operating procedure for the FBI. They don't go fishing. They have a lead. Somebody said this hits a red box. Check this box and ensure that these people, and what they're looking for is that person who says, get off my fucking property or I'm going to open fire. That's the person they're looking for.
Right.
And that's the problem.
So, I have a question.
Yeah, go.
So if you tell them to fuck off, is that going to intensify the situation? Is that going to check another box?
Of course it is. Yeah.
Probably.
Your reaction is being noted, and it's going to be reported back how you react to this process.
What if I say calmly?
Well, that'd be
calmly.
Yeah, no, not even then. I mean, listen, here's what I would do. Hey guys, what's going on? That's what I would do. And I would show almost subservience. So I could get as much information from them as possible and not show myself as a threat. I would lower my posture. I'd probably try to blow out my stomach a little bit. I'd try to look a little less big than I am, and I would look as small as possible and weak and frail, because I don't want them reporting back. It's like, this guy works out. This guy's a fucking big dude. He's armed. He's this and that. I'm going to let them misjudge who I am, and I'm going to go on counterintelligence.
Right.
I mean, that's but because that's my nature. That's just what I do. Go ahead, Leroy.
There's a level of misdirection that you should be capable of when dealing with anybody who's in the government, you know, some sort of an authority figure. To Matt's point, it's kind of like the Kathy Griffin thing when she held up the, you know, the head.
Severed head. You can say it.
Right.
It's okay.
Well, I guess my point is, you want to say, look, hey, you know, completely wrong on that part. You know, sorry about that. I was really high. You know, whatever it is, whatever you want to say to kind of give some level of misdirection, right? So that they don't look at you and immediately think, Waco, Texas, let's go. You know,
yeah, don't say you're high.
That's not what you want.
Right.
Don't say you're high. I was blown out of my mind like I am right now. I just did an 8-ball right before you knocked on the door.
It sounds like we need to learn like a magic trick for people who come knocking at our door, like to misdirect, like look at this.
No,
you know?
it's not misdirection. It's not the time.
Get the hell out.
It's not the time to litigate the case, right? They've got a job to do. They've been told to do something. Try to figure out what job they're doing. That's what I would do. Is I'd build a relationship with them. Hey, what office are you guys in? Where'd you guys serve? Do you guys go to Quantico and spend some time at Quantico? What do you guys do? You know, but Olivia knows I'm really good at that. I'm really good at being charming as fuck when I want to be. And I would try to find out as much as I could. And then 5 seconds later, thank you. 5 seconds later from that, I'm calling my lawyer. And I'm finding out, and I'm getting a hold of NCIC. I'm finding if there's any open investigations. I'm finding out if I'm on a no-fly list. I want to know if I have an open warrant. I want to know everything I could possibly find out. So I'm going to go into counterintelligence mode and try to collect from them. And I get cops talking. I'll tell you that. I get them yapping, and I'm good at getting them yapping.
You talked yourself out of a lot of speeding tickets too.
Yeah. All right. So listen, I want to do this. I want to give. Yes, go.
I'm sorry. I don't understand. Where is this going? Are they taking people to court? Are they putting you in jail for this?
No,
Or this
they're trying to stop people from creating resistance to the normal parameters of what the expectations of you are supposed to be as a person. You are supposed to get up. You are supposed to shit, shower, shave, put on your clothes, go to work 5 days a week, work your 40, come home, drink beer, watch football, punt the cat, have sex with your wife, copulate and have kids, and then shut the fuck up. And you are not to wake up other people and incite them with ideas of revolution or holding the government accountable or resisting in a way that's outside of those basic norms. And because the thing that a government cannot have is the citizenry no longer following the people who are elected, not as representatives, but seeing them as leaders. That is the greatest trick they've pulled, is to anoint themselves the leaders of the American people. They are not. They are not our leaders. The president is not the leader of the people. The Senate, the Congress, the mayor, the governor, they are not leaders. They are appointed officials who represent us at all levels of government, that we are not able to represent ourselves as individuals because we have a representative democracy through our republic, that the individual rights are paramount, but not all individual rights can be heard. But when they are always first and foremost and considered. That is by definition what it is supposed to be like. This keeps people in line. Go ahead, Leroy.
Real quick, to answer Amy's question, in the book and movie 1984, there was a character named Winston. Winston was a government agent, and what he did was he kind of monitored the angry mobs, and he was the one that lied to people and basically told them that 2 and 2 is 5. And at one point in the book and in the movie, he would question people who had these ideas, who had these radical ideas of independence. And again, in the book and in the movie, that questioning eventually led to torture, right? I'm not saying this is in any way, shape, or form leading to torture, but this is definitely the same type of case of a major government person coming in and saying, hey, we'd like to talk to you. Do you have a minute? Same thing. This is them just trying to gather that level of intel on you to basically say, let's see how how much of an independent thinker you really are at this point.
If the FBI knocks on your door for no reason, there is a reason, and your job is to figure out what that reason is. And I am telling you right now, if the Fib knocked on my door and did that, I would fucking ghost in a New York minute. I would poof. My family and we would poof. And it doesn't mean we go off grid, because you can't go off grid anymore. That's bullshit. There's no way I am going off grid. But you can at least poof and get out of Dodge until you find out what's going on. But I'm telling you right now, this is the weaponization of the DOD and DOJ, and they are preemptively collecting intelligence on their citizens because they feel there is a credible threat and they want to get ahead of it so a J6 type situation doesn't happen again. And this is their best way that they feel to do it. And I believe this is the worst way, because this just creates more mistrust. I want to give Alan the time he deserves. He's a busy man. Alan, where can people find you? How do they follow you? How do they get involved in Fathers Lives Matter?
Well, easiest way is just hit me up on Instagram. It's just Instagram.com, Fathers Lives Matter. That's where I'm at. That's where I do everything, pretty much.
Wow, I got you zoomed in. Let me
Wait,
here. This is much better. Go ahead. So Alan, when you talk about Fathers Lives Matter, and people want to know how they can help, how they can contribute, or how they can leverage, the resources that you have, what's your best advice for them? Is it just Instagram? Is that the best way, or is there a website?
So Instagram is by far the largest platform, 230,000 followers. I'm on all the other platforms, but everything starts on Instagram and kind of gets dumped over to like Twitter or Facebook. I think there's still a fucking TikTok too that I don't ever use.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's my second TikTok. I got banned off the first one.
Wow, so did we.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Hey, awesome. Twinsies.
That sounds just a little bit.
Yeah. But, the easiest way is just to reach out to me directly.
Okay. Well, we appreciate it, man. We hope you come on again. I would love to get on your show. It's anytime. And I'm inviting myself, so just tell me no.
Well, as soon as I get off restrictions, I'll have you on.
He's going through the growing pains of remember when we went through that, folks. He's going through it now, and they gave him a restriction because this Black Widow special ops huntress, which we are considering carrying the story, decided
You guys
to go
got it,
ahead.
man. It's insane. It's some
we're
Hollywood
not
movie shit.
We're not considering out of fear or worried. We're considering how we want to present it. And I want, like I said, I want legal to look over it, and I want to notify her and give her a chance to respond. And then
a funny story on that. Not to cut you off there, but
that's okay.
I've done 2 podcasts with 2 of her victims, and she's been in the comments of both podcasts, and I've given her the opportunity. I said, hey, in the interest of fairness, because of the depth of this story, come on the show. I want to hear your side of it. I want to hear what you have to say. She won't do it. She sends her flying monkeys into the comments to attack anybody who comments or to attack me personally, but she won't show herself.
Oh, I love those. See, I live off that. I get that 24 hours a day. I'm attacked. Like, I just saw something flash on my phone, and people are like, "What are you, a fucking idiot?" I mean, that's all I get all day, and I'm like, damn, man. I'm like, what do you got to do to get some respect? You fucking people. What do I got to do to get some respect around here? I tell you. All right, so Olivia, 1 minute, go.
Oh, you always put me on the spot.
Leroy, 1 minute, go.
To plug Alan. First of all, thank you very much for being on the show with us. I was really unaware as far as some of the things that fathers kind of have to contend with. Wow, that's really awesome. So just to throw out a couple of figures in Alan's to kind of talk up Alan here. A couple of years ago, Obama had done a Father's Day statistics thing, and where he had noted that children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in prison. After that, I had seen a separate special that talked about more men's statistics and how kind of society kind of shits on us. 93% of workplace fatalities are men. 4 out of 5 suicides are from men. 38% of college students are men, and men are sentenced to roughly 63% more prison time for the same crime as women. In 2013, 4,584 people were killed on the job. 93% of them were men. So society definitely has there's a bit of a cancer right now, a bit of an offset, and people like Alan are kind of paving the way to try and help kind of right the ship. So good on you, Alan. Thank you for being on the show.
No pun
Absolutely.
intended. That's a bridge we're going to have to cross. Ship.
Unless it gets knocked down.
Ship. That's why I did it, Leroy, because you said
I get it.
Hey, Liv and Amy, thanks a lot for that, for hating men. We really appreciate you.
I know.
Amy, 1 minute.
I burned my bras, so.
You don't need a bra. Amy, go ahead. Amy, go ahead.
By 1 minute, I just want to say thanks to Alan. I would love to do a show with all of us with Alan, but like dedicated to him and just kind of. I mean, I've watched the other special, but I would love to like ask my own questions, get his take on. I honestly, to selfishly, I just want to have like a full-on conversation for like 5 hours just to hear selfishly for myself. But I also want to say it is Good Friday. I know people say Happy Good Friday. I don't think it's a happy day for most people. It's a very reflective,
why don't we say
solemn
something else?
day.
Why don't we say it's Good Friday and Sunday is right around the corner?
Yeah, so it's Good Friday. I don't know. I just want to remind people that, and not everyone believes in God, and that's totally fine. I do believe in God, and Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and I do believe that He is a real person who lived and walked on this earth and died for our sins. So Good Friday is a very reflective, just day of prayer and deep thought for us. And Sunday is a very happy, rejoiceful day. So happy Easter to everyone if you celebrate. And just, my thoughts are
Can we
with
just say
everyone.
Good Friday and a better Sunday is coming? Something like that.
Yeah.
Why
So
don't
I
you just
know.
work on that? Why don't you work on that and get back to me and let me know? And we
Talk
can go to
Father
Hallmark.
Gold.
We can go to
I don't know.
Hallmark.
I'm kind of
And,
MIA lately.
we could sell
Father
Good
Heiser.
Friday Hallmark cards on the site. It'll just be like Good Friday, but Sunday's better. Or
Yeah.
I don't know. A little
I don't
song.
know.
Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. If you don't know, you can go to paypal.me and help with the show. It's the end of the month. Rent's due. No, I'm kidding. If you want to donate, we appreciate it. We thank you. It helps keep the lights on. This is all paid for by myself and Olivia. We do this out of our home with our 4 children, and we neglect them often. So we need to
Our
pay.
4 children.
We
One of our children sitting on my desk.
It's
the
a
whole
cat
time.
and a lizard, but we need to pay for their therapy because we neglect them because of you. So it would help if you would go ahead and take some responsibility and help donate to the show. You can do that by going to linktapgo.com/thedumbshow. Alan, you are an awesome dude. I can't wait to kind of continue to work with you. I know we're going to get your studio set up, and I can't wait to talk to you the next time, man. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for going to the Dumb
Alan.
Show and
Thank you,
checking
guys.
us out. Thanks
Night, y'all.
everybody. Good night.
Good night, y'all.
Peace.
See you Monday. There's Olivia. Say bye, everybody. Say bye, Liv.
Night, y'all.
Say bye, Liv.
Bye.
You look so
See ya.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.